amazing, awesome things on highvibe.tv if you are a member. And of course, we do shows like this for free. And what keeps this free on YouTube and even on the app, which you can download for free, and also watch Spiritual Dance Music, which will be right after this show live, just so you can get the app for free and you can watch these shows and then you get our notifications and everything. But if you want to become a member, you get everything, which there is so much on there. So please check it out, highvibe.tv. We also got a 7-day free trial. And we're on every, there we are right here. If you've never watched the show before, we are going to do your love report, of course, based off what's happening in the stars, but channeling that all into a live tarot. And I am here with the one and only Scorpio, Craig Skidmore.
Down. What up, everybody?
Got a Hickey Speed shirt on?
Hickey Speed. You know, this is Promote a Business Monday.
Is it?
I don't know. It's a really comfortable T-shirt.
I will admit, Roger's very good at
Hickey
picking
Speed,
out some shirts.
That's David's stepfather. He is extremely fast on 4 wheels.
Very fast.
He went 100 miles an hour. What year was that?
2016. He came out of retirement.
100 miles an hour on a street luge skateboard. Hickey Speed. You guys should check him out.
He broke the first one to ever do it.
It's crazy. But I'm feeling good. Also, I want to say, before we get started, the newest Art to Life with the lovely Kim Tabay is up. I don't have the easel, so I'm going to be holding this for a second. But yeah, it's on High Vibe. It's free. It's a new installment. We're going to be filming another one tomorrow, and y'all should check it out. Just search There's an Art to Life. Also, I did a podcast with Anne the other week, so that's up there as well. You can just check out The Doors of Perception there on the High Vibe app. Now for some love.
Time to get into some love. What we do is we do a collective reading, and then, of course, we are going to pick from, it is changing since it is solar eclipse time. That does reset things. We're going to pick your sun signs from the new High Vibe Gold Cup, and there are new written ones. And, of course, we're not doing this yet, but look which one I picked out.
Ain't no party, baby.
Look at these are a lot stiffer.
They're Post-its, so some of them are on the sticky side, and I folded it over. Yeah.
So, okay.
So yeah, it just happened to
when we say we do the show live, it's live. I'm just finding out now that some of them are sticky or some of them are not. Okay. See what Craig did here is he took the sticky for Aries, and then he flopped it over. Aries can be sticky people that'll really stick to things. He did the same to Pisces. Pisces got a lot of water. And
yeah, I think there's going to be three stiffer ones.
Anyway, so that's how the show rolls. We do the astrology, but it's very quick because, of course, we do Deep Love Tarot, and you can watch my weekly sun sign horoscopes on highvibe.tv. I did them in the Redwoods, actually. So they were specially channeled this week. I say we roll into this. Are we ready?
Yeah, just let me write collective right quick. And
I'm like Speedy Gonzalez because you know why we got deep or spiritual dance music that is right after this. So big night here at highvibe.tv. Hope everybody's doing well after the solar eclipse in Cancer. I had a really good one out in the Redwoods. Craig moved.
I did.
Like a lot of change.
My diving board, pool.
Yeah, Craig, go follow him on Instagram at Chief Mojo Rising, 2 E's in Chief. E's. And you will see Craig do like a typical green tree gator dive. It's not like a Deerfield bluefin one, but I mean, it's not bad. It's like a 7 out of 10 form.
I'd been hyping it up with Ann for so long about my record setting that I was talking to someone about this weekend, and I sent her the link, so she got to see my athletic abilities. 6, 8, 10. I was on fire.
I'll admit you were a great swimmer up until 10 years old.
Yeah.
I kept to go until 18.
Some point. You have to hit your peak at some point.
My peak was actually looking at my times was like 16, 17 butterfly. That was like I was pulling some 24s and 23s butterfly.
Yeah, I was over by then.
Huh?
I was over it by then.
Yeah.
I had all the accolades you could get.
50 yards.
City records.
I was doing
team records, just like, I was done.
Participation awards.
People wanted autographs, like agents trying to sign me. I'm like, yo, Speedo, I can't do it. I'm 10. I can't.
I know. Actually, I don't think people know, but I think that when Craig was going to be signed by Speedo, it was between him and who was it? Was it Michael Phelps?
I think I was a little bit faster than Phelps.
Yeah, you were a little faster than Phelps, but I think they went with Phelps because he had better form with his arms before he goes in the pool.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here with y'all if I did. So, it was a good thing that I went with my gut instinct. Always follow your gut instinct. Always.
You just knew like Speedo wasn't for you. You were waiting for.
I knew the Olympics, the Wheatie boxes, all that. It just wasn't for me. I wasn't about it. So.
Yeah.
I'll have to do with Instagram.
We're happy the path that you chose, Craig.
Me too.
Well, collective wise, let's just roll. This week's it's not over eclipse season. There's one more eclipse coming in less than 2 weeks now, lunar. We just had the solar in Cancer, and this week, the big news, Venus is coming out of retrograde, but it's a weird one because here on Monday, Neptune has now gone retrograde in Pisces, and that means we have 6 planets retrograde. There's only 2 planets direct, Mars and Uranus is pretty much almost stopped. It's only doing 2 seconds a day, or 2 minutes. I think it's 2 minutes and 2 seconds around there. That's nothing. Remember in geometry, there's degrees, and then there's the 60 seconds equals 1 degree. When you're doing 2 minutes, or you need 60 minutes to hit 1 degree, and we are at very slow Uranus. But Mars flying 36 minutes a day, meaning half a degree a day, and that is the fastest energy. That's a planetary energy. The sun and the moon don't change. So, I mean, they technically do if you want to get mathematical in the fall and the winter and stuff like that, opposed to the summer and the spring. But we're talking about very small arcage. But this is a major moment where Mars is leading the way, and it's coming into its home sign of Aries for an extended stay while Venus comes direct in Gemini. So the good news for love is, well, we're going to see love situations, I would say, get much more clarity, especially in Gemini, and Venus has done a long 40-day cycle here of retrograde motion, and it's going to come direct. But there's been a lot of questions that need answered, and there's been a lot of review, and I think that deep inside you're going to notice this week with love, like, you know what, I know emotionally what will work and what won't. But Mars coming into Aries brings the passion, the desire, and the intensity that's going to be here for a long time, all the way into the beginnings of 2021. And that's an extended stay. So, Mars is at its home. Mars brings up intense desire, sexuality, passions, war, fighting, violence, intensity. So I've been putting out a lot of warnings for the end of June, and a lot of people want to know why. And I'm going to say it for love real quick. It's because if you're in situations that literally, I always say don't make sense because of this North Node in Gemini and because of Venus being in Gemini retrograde that's finishing this week. And now with Mars coming into Aries and Mars finishing in Pisces at these final degrees where, people can get really lost. They could do weird things. They can get, and if you're in a partnership that already doesn't make sense, like out of nowhere, this is where, that fight comes out of nowhere. And then with Mars and Aries, people really start to bring out either the best in themselves and the heroes, or they bring out the warrior that can be sometimes the darker warrior, especially with some very hard aspects that will be coming to Mars over these coming months. Although Mars makes a sextile with Saturn as it comes in, so there might be some control to help you exit or connect, depending on what you're doing. So I would say that, there's a lot of confusion with love since Venus did go retrograde, square Neptune. And that was a long Venus station at 21 degrees of Gemini, and even at 20 degrees of Gemini when it was squaring Neptune at 20 degrees. And now that Neptune's gone retrograde, ironically enough, that's bringing up a lot of things. The planet that squared Neptune the most was Venus this year. So it's weird that this Venus retrograde now is connected to the Venus, or this Neptune retrograde is connected to the Venus retrograde. Like, even more intensely now that they're both retrograde and they're both reflecting off the square point that was in May. And so there's a lot that has been going on through May that has kind of brought up a lot of things that are trying to be understood. And this is all kind of peeking out here under a world view that's going to be very intense. With Mars square the nodes, people have to make a choice in love this week. What stimulates you, it's exciting and makes sense for your environment, your reality, or hopeful, over hopeful, kind of, or lost in some sort of belief system, you know, and or trying to go on some crusade that doesn't have a point, really, that you believe has a point, but really it doesn't. And this can take a lot of stress, I would say, in the collective and for individuals right now, love-wise, where you have to really not be blinded in the choices you make by suppressing the truth and suppressing yourself, or suppressing, I don't want to say suppressing hopefulness, because it's almost the opposite. It's almost like, you know, giving more hope to hopeless situations, you know, like that need some truth involved. So it's going to be a wild week. We have Mars that is strong, and it is the strongest planet right now. When it comes into Aries, it is dignified, and at the 0 point it creates explosions. And this is so for love, this can be an explosion of love, and it can also be an explosion out of love. And this is what I've been preparing people for. So let's see what's in the cards. First card that we're seeing here is the Fool card reversed. Ooh, uh-oh. This is a wake-up call, because the Fool in reverse is the ultimate fool. You know, the Fool upright, of course, can be the, oh, don't be such a fool. I mean, that's the whole thing. We're all fools in life because we don't understand the reason why we're fully here. But the Fool reversed is knowing you're a fool and still following it. Like stupidly knowing you're stupidly going to do something. A fool is a true fool when you already know. But just a fool is like, oh, I didn't know, because I didn't see that yet. And okay, I learned from being the fool there. Or I was just doing my best I could and I was foolish. But this is like foolish knowing you're foolish. And so don't be stepping in or doing things or, you know, staying in foolish situations that you shouldn't be in relationships, because it's going to be very, very volatile coming up here in the astrology. And I would hate for you to be in volatile situations or extreme, you know, loss or emotions that would go crazy. Our challenge that we got here is the Power card. So maybe we feel powerless, or maybe the challenge is that you try to bring power to really stupid love situations. And I would say that this is like, you know, this is trying to overextend and fix and stay in foolish situations. I think that we have to maybe drop the power. Like, you know what? Why am I going to give something that is foolish that I already know is, and foolish meaning like, I'd be stupid if I did that. There's no reciprocation. It's taking me in a place that's making me feel like I'm going away from my power, and I'm giving all my power away. Our overall card that we got here is the Four of Wands upright. So, I mean, I think that, you know, this is a card, of course, it's the marriage card, but it's a card of celebration and ultimate union in a place that's something to celebrate for. And I think that overall, there's going to be a lot to celebrate about, even in the powerless ones, meaning that it's almost like there's somebody else there to catch you on the other side, or there's another situation, or just yourself that's here to celebrate, or right now you're finally leaving the past, or you're letting go of the ex finally. And then, you know, there's a lot of this kind of like, there's a great celebration for the harder truths of the powerless situations that we get out of. It's almost like sometimes in life, like if you're single, right? It's like, why am I giving energy to that powerless situation? It's like the second you turn that off, bang, the real deal shows up. Boom. If you're in a relationship that's not working and you keep putting it in there won't be much to celebrate about, but, you know, maybe the right person can catch you, like a friend or somebody, to help you out of the crazy situation. How are we getting through this? The Nine of Cups in reverse. You know, it's time to stop putting over optimism over this, giving power to situations that are not truly got the power. Or being blind to that it has a lot of power when it doesn't. It's like, oh yeah, we've got plenty of gas to keep going. Last night when I was driving home, I knew I was looking at how many miles per gallon I was getting, and in my head I was going fast, and I had it in sport mode, and I was going up the grapevine. And I'm like, you know what? Got to put it back in normal mode because I don't want those twin turbos sucking the gas to get home. You know, like I'm not going to just be naive and be like, you know, I could probably do it. There's probably a little extra in the tank.
Not so much.
Not so much. Why did we get this Fool card in reverse? Or we got Saturn, the truth. Owie. Owie, mama. So the truth is coming out about what foolish situations we're really in and where we are just the ultimate fool. And you know, sometimes the fool reverse is being lied to, and the main one is the lying to oneself. And Saturn is time to see the reality and make tough choices to grow up about them and to step into the truth, because if you don't, you know, it's almost like it'll hurt you more. And the reason why we got that Four of Wands is the Three of Swords in reverse. Wow, to get out of heartbreak, there's a celebration that's waiting for us when we let go of heartbreak, but you have to go sometimes through heartbreak, or maybe the heartbreak's already happened. But I would say that also, this is not about avoiding heartbreak. This is about realizing that you've gone through heartbreak, and maybe it's not the same thing that you think. Sometimes you go through heartbreak and it's actually not as heartbreaking. It's actually much more empowering, right? It's like you think it's so bad to go through the heartbreak, but really it's like, gosh, that person never liked me. Why was I so scared of leaving that? Or why was I so weird that it didn't work out? There was no love there. And why did I feel like it was heartbreaking? The celebration is I was never getting that. There's a lot of different scenarios that one can play out with. We got Cancer, 8th house with the South Node. So, you know, this is definitely not one to be just try and keep, you know, putting the power into the emotion of like, I need it to feel this way. I need to feel safe this way. This is about Capricorn, 2nd house. You need to start to think a little bit more about the value, and is this taking me somewhere great, or am I staying in a place that actually is killing me spiritually, or killing me softly with his, you know?
Most definitely. It's almost like a follow the leader type situation. Like we've been putting too much weight in someone else's words and not necessarily following what we should be doing and following what's going right in our gut instincts. You know, we were just talking about this right before, you know, following your gut instincts. We can get told one way that we should be living our life this way, or that we shouldn't date that person, or that we should date this person for that reason. But if it doesn't feel right to you, then you definitely should not. Don't get involved with situations. And I think right now it's time to gather all that information and actually decide which direction you're going to go with in your life.
It's not even only that. I love that you bring that up. It's yourself telling, if you're questioning yourself, should I or shouldn't I? Or, there's already, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, should I love my cat or not? Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, I always like to use animals as a good example. Like, it's just like, you know, and then people are like, but it's humans and it's love, so there's going to be complications. It's like, not during this time. Not during this time should you be going, well, should I or shouldn't I? Or I don't know. That is your clear signal. And I would hate for you to come into this Mars and Aries. That is, it's going to push the story pretty crazy. And it can get volatile. So, or it could be the most passionate, desirable experience of ever. I mean, really, that's the irony of Mars. So, I like that you bring that up, though. You know, it's like peer pressure.
Definitely.
But also internal mind, ego, security pressure that's peered by your own alter ego's negative subconscious.
Well, that's what it comes down to. You gotta, you know, if you don't necessarily know who you are, if you're putting on an act in front of individuals, then maybe they're going to perceive and say like, okay, this is going to be right for that person because this is how they act. But if you're not being true to yourself, then no one's really going to know you fully either.
Yeah.
All right.
I see we have 1,000, but we're going to pick a sun sign first, and then we're going to do the 1,000.
Sun sign.
Oh, Aries came first.
Oh, the thick.
There's a lot going on for Aries right now, so remember that there's a lot of planet shifting here, and there's a lot of retrogrades, and then we're also changing with the eclipses and stuff. So some of these readings are going to start to change here astrologically. But again, go follow highvibe.tv or be a member to get the full scope. I'm just going to do a quick layout. All right, Aries, this week you're going through the dumps. You will rise out of the dumps by this weekend with Mars in your sign, but you have to go through a major Mars in Pisces. You got to go through Venus coming direct in your third house. You just had a solar eclipse square your sign in Cancer emotionally. So this is an emotional dump that you are having to get through. And so is that affecting your relationship? Are you being the one that's being negative? Are you being the one that's pouting? Like, you need to grow back up and get some strength again. And if you don't like what you don't like, get out of it and change it yourself, and don't be a little baby, and don't keep getting Gerber fed to you. Like, learn to feed yourself here what you need in your life. Don't feel like you need to be rescued. You're the one who rescues other people. So rescue yourself.
Boom.
Wow, you got the Two of Cups upright. This is definitely a soulmate situation that is being brought up. Overall, like, this is like either the deep need for a soulmate, or the feeling like, is this the right soulmate, or where is my soulmate, or what is going on with this soulmate situation? It's very apparent, and it's popping up extreme this week. We're going to get closer into that. We got the Talisman as your challenge. You don't know which door to unlock, what wisdom and which key to go towards the spiritual divine doors. It's almost like, I think that you're afraid to open the doors to the truth of what the soulmate feelings are like for you right now, and seeing what's in that door. You pulled that Nine of Wands upright. I've been seeing this card a lot. There's like a defense mechanism. And you know what? I think that overall, I think that you're going to reveal that a lot of the soulmate stuff isn't being solved because maybe either A, you're too afraid to let anybody in to investigate it, or you're too afraid to let other people see what's inside those gates. You also might be the guard that doesn't even know what you're guarding, right? Or you might be blocked from allowing soulmate energy and true soulmate energy in, or you're still stuck on somebody in the past and still defending them. The way you get through that is the Hangman reverse, that you don't need to keep yourself in a stuck position, or maybe it's the illusion that you can't unlock the doors that you want because you feel you're stuck. The truth is you're either stuck into a past situation, or you're just stuck in your own depression or some sort of weird kind of psychological, mumble jumble that's going on because of the fact that you're too afraid to kind of, I would say, step in to see what the soulmate energy is. I'm pulling a Black Mirror card for you, and you got the colorless angel. So I think you are dealing with some sort of like, I'm not feeling that great. Is that a reflection on the person that I'm with? It could be. Could be that you're reflecting their energy. So you could be taking on energy right now that's not the angel that you really want to be, and being like, uh-oh. Or they might be in sorrow, and now that's what you're getting. So you might have to be facing who you're around and the choices that you're making with people, because it's their energy that's kind of rubbing off. I'm going to pull an Astro one for you too. And you got the Jupiter return of benefits by taking a look at the walls that you have up and the walls that can be taken down or stayed up more. There's a lot to do here, but the only benefit is when you open doors, and there's a lot about opening doors with the Talisman and the Key, and with the Hangman reverse, there's nothing holding you back from opening the doors of the ultimate benefits in your life, but you're putting your own walls up, and you're staying in situations with soulmate situations that are colorless, and you're trying to paint the roses red. You did pull. Wow. This one is the first time it went in the front.
Went down for a while. Yeah, I definitely think that, there's almost like that fear of moving forward also for some reason. You think that you're being held back, and you are potentially, and there's that fear of stepping of the unknown. But really what's right on the other side could be something beautiful, could be something that's celebrated, but you're never going to know unless you actually just kind of put those fears to the side and step into your true power.
I agree with that.
Hey, thanks.
Because look at how funny. Saturn and Aries in the third house. Holding oneself back by the mind or the environment that you're in. You might be in the wrong environment, Aries, or you might be surrounded by the wrong energy, or you might not be communicating what you need to communicate, or you're holding back your communication, or you need to be better about communicating and also maybe restrain how you communicate because you don't want to screw things up. This is a complicated situation, but the complication is yourself, and the complication is, are you the colorless angel that is causing the energy? Or is it your partner that's bringing it on to you? These are questions that I think that you need to be willing to go deep in and unlock. I can't give you that full answer, but you have to go yourself to find that out. You know the answer, though, yourself.
We all know the answers within, but are we going to face them? That is
Mars and Aries is going to make us face them.
There we go.
And it's going to be a long one. I mean, it's going to be, you know what? It'll be good for fire signs, air signs, water and earth, though. Oh, no.
Are we going to do a little
We're doing that 1K love reading right now.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's 1,000 people in here. There is 1,000 people in here.
I don't know. The back end on my YouTube is like going all weird, you know? Chat's not even scrolling anymore. It says there's 1,056. I don't know how long ago that was, though. I'm not able to see the funny comments anymore or when people are getting wild. But it's okay.
So if you've never done the 1,000 collective love reading, this is where I'm going to have you pick one person that you're dating, you're talking to, you're in a relationship with. You cannot be picking somebody that you don't know or that you just see on social media, you never talk to them. So you're talking to them, you're dating them, you're interested in them, you want to see what's there, you know, there's an interest, what's going on, or you're in a relationship with them, and you have to pick that one person, and you can't use this reading on somebody else and be like, oh no, the reading feels more like for that person. No, it's just this person. So pick them in your head. You got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, no switching. 0. Concrete that. Blast off. Well, this person, 2 of Pentacles in reversed. It's almost like they're getting over, moving around different realities, or they're juggling things that they're over juggling. They know there's another side, and they're ready to maybe make a jump. It's almost like they're over feeling like they're kind of in between realities and trying to figure out realities. And also maybe between you two, right? It almost feels like it's been like 2 different worlds that haven't been able to mix, but maybe this is finally going to figure out, you know, that maybe you guys are in the same place at the same time. The challenge is the death card here. So I think that there's a fear of it, you know, that it would never work, or that it would never happen, or that it's going to die. But, you know, but this being the challenge, this could just be a fear. It could just be, you know, the fear because it never has moved in the right place, that it was dead already. Maybe it's not. We're going to get a little bit deeper with that. But the Empress card reversed overall. So it's almost like maybe you don't feel like you're good enough for this person, or this person doesn't feel like they're good enough for you, or maybe this person is afraid to really show the true love and support. I almost feel like there's a shyness about this, both people or the other person. Or, you know, yeah, there's some sort of shyness here. Ace of Swords in reversed. That's not thinking straight about death, passion, desire, intensity. I think that, you know, this is about, especially these are all reversed. The situation feels like it's like just trying to figure out even what it is. It almost feels like it doesn't, it's like, it feels like it's something kind of, I don't know why I'm saying it feels like something that's new but feels old. It could feel like maybe it's a Venus retrograde kind of situation. Maybe you feel this, found this person in the last, you know, 40 days and you're trying to understand what the fuck's going on. And this is a typical kind of Venus retrograde situation where there's a lot of things that are just still trying to reveal themselves. We got the 2nd house of owning. So again, I'm picking up a self-worth thing. Maybe it's like this person or you or together just haven't know the worth's there, but it hasn't been expressed. It hasn't been spoken. It hasn't been shown. There's a shyness. I'm pulling a black mirror for this one. The obsession, there's definitely an obsession. Each person is kind of obsessed with each other, or that you're obsessed with them or they're obsessed with you. But I would definitely feel there's an obsession about this, but there's still a lot of questions. And I don't think that you're going to have the answers just yet. And I think that you really want it, but I think that you're going to have to wait a little bit of time, and you're going to have to realize that it's not over or it's not going to happen. It's more like there's a lot of questions that still need to be revealed. And I think that it's more about time. Especially with the Empress reversed, it needs to find its worth, and the 2 of Pentacles reversed is ready to make a choice on what side of the fence to really be in reality and stop juggling things so much. And there's going to be a moment, I feel, where it's going to feel weird having to kind of say and pop up what this is, or the feelings or the expressions be told. We got Saturn in Gemini in the third, so it's exactly what it is. It's shyness, nobody talking, it's the communication's there, but it's like, is this the proper thing to say? Should I tell you? I almost feel like this is like kind of like a karmically weird situation, and it might involve, especially in the third house, it might involve another person, and we got a 3. It could be kind of a love triangle thing here.
Yeah, I'm picking up because it's definitely internalizing this. You know, I'm thinking like almost like you don't even know how beautiful you are. You don't even know your own sex appeal, and so that's like putting a damper on this relationship for some reason. That's what I'm kind of picking up on with that death card. I don't know.
Yeah,
but that's just like it's like you're so beautiful, and you have this raw emotion and love, and that sex appeal. I think you need to harness that and actually utilize that for your power and go and get it. Maybe this person doesn't necessarily know because you haven't been showing it. I think it's time to show it.
Dang, the Scorpio's coming out. That's what I like to see. When Craig brings his Scorpio out to the party.
Yeah.
Woo!
I don't know, that death
Firing it up tonight.
That death card got me fired up.
Oh
as
my
you'd say.
gosh.
Got me fired
I
up.
think it's that pool. Woo!
Pool, that diving board, my Traeger, that brisket's coming this weekend.
I know. Yeah. You know, it's like funny. I'm here in the office and it's like massive amounts of Amazon packages. We've got a forklift bringing in freaking a huge ass freaking what is that thing again? It's
It's a smoker grill, Traeger.
a smoker.
I know the office next door. He's like, hey, I'll bring the forklift over and put that in your car when you're ready to take it.
I'm like, oh, anything for me? I'm like, no, everything's here for Craig.
I've got it all though. I'm ready. I'm ready.
I hope that reading helped people. Let's see who's next here. We did get Geminis. Is that 2 dots that you put over the ends?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I had the box up. I can even see.
Okay. Did you have to Google how to spell Gemini?
No.
It's a joke. Gemini's Venus comes out of retrograde in your sign, and Neptune's now retrograde. So, this is the week of where you have to, I would say, finally know, is this the path of what I want in my life, and define paths too, and know your value better. And I think with Mars coming into Aries here, but finishing in Pisces in your 10th house square the nodes, you have major choices to make, and whether or not you're going to do the best choice for yourself, or you're making your choices based off a partner or somebody else, or you're running towards somebody and not yourself, or you're giving yourself away. Geminis, this is your major test. I would say that the tests are going to be there, of course, with the North Node of remaining in the best for yourself. But I would say that this is the week to where, what kind of world do you want to go live in? And does this work for your world now based off the choices that you make, off the kind of partners that you're around? You have to start asking yourself that. This Venus retrograde made you realize, I think, a lot of things that you thought were one way, but definitely you are Gemini, and it's definitely now turning into a new direction. You did pull the 2 of Swords in reverse, so it's clear that the crossroads are not as crossroady as you think, but you're holding yourself from having to make a choice. You're afraid to actually just be real. It's clear as a bell. You think it's almost, but you want to act almost in yourself like, no, I still don't know. Yeah, you know. I think that you're having some issues with just hey, this is what I got to do. This is the path I got to go. I'm taking this or I'm not. There could be, though, a little confusion, of course, with any 2 of Swords, even if it is upright or reversal, because there is the blindfold, but this is an upside down blindfold. It's almost like it's off, and it's almost like a subconscious, I don't want to deal with the truth that I'm at a crossroad. It's like the denial of it. Look at this. And I think that this is hard for you because the challenge card is the good fortune card. It's almost like you feel like, well, this is just bad luck, and I thought this was going to be so great. Or, well, good fortune actually is coming by getting rid of the disfortune. You know what I mean? Like the bad fortune. Think of it that way. And you did pull the Page of Cups in reversed. It's like, it's okay to speak your truth, even if it's not the perfect, fluffy, emotional situation to always talk about. Like, it's almost like, I got a feeling, Geminis, that you keep dealing with people where when it comes to truth right now, it's almost like it only can be said when everybody's in a positive mood. That can't happen anymore because it's not, no truth is coming out, and you are a true speaker. So it's almost like, you know, you want everything to be all rosy cozy all the time, and that's definitely not what's showing up here. But that's going to be the truth to let you either move on to the right direction or at least fix the situation to see where the truth lies. There's a lot of, how funny, where the truth lies. Where the truth lies in yourself. Like, it not only lies there, but you lie your truth to yourself. You got the Four of Cups in reverse. So it's like, you definitely have fortune, but maybe it's just not looking the way that you want it to look. Maybe this is, you know, the end of a partnership that brings in the right partnership. Or maybe you've denied the right partner for, you know, thinking that your good fortune was something else. Or maybe it's okay just to be alone right now. Like, it's okay. Like, maybe you're like, okay, well, I got the gift of this relationship, but it's not really what I want, and it's okay to be alone at the moment. Your Black Mirror card that you got is the Anger and Chains. So there's definitely a feeling that you're stuck in some crappy situation, and that's the truth that you don't want to face. And I think that it's funny because you pulled the Two of Swords, so it's like, am I anger or do I feel stuck? No, it's both. And what do you do with the choices of that? I think that maybe you're convoluting it as like you're trying to separate them, but you need to put them together and then realize there's a choice to make after you realize that. The reason why you pulled that Page of Cups reversed is you pulled the Chariot card reversed. Wow, yeah, you're afraid to move on because you want it all to be rosy and all good and no negative talk and just all positive only. But I mean, you're missing out on something. There's some road you're missing out on right now. You're missing out on a lot, I'm going to be honest. Four of Cups reversed with good fortune in your challenge, Anger and Chains over Two of Swords, and you got the Chariot reversed with the Page of Cups reversed. I mean, I would just be honest with you. It's almost like, gosh, there is a better situation out there for you, Gemini, or your relationship needs a complete overhaul that is going to be very difficult, need to take a whole new direction, and might need to go to counseling or some sort of help. Gemini, or sorry, it's 11th house, Virgo, Venus. Wow, yeah, Venus and Virgo in the 11th. It is about the world that you really want to have in your life. Does it really fit your reality? I almost feel like it's two different realities with the Two of Swords reversed, but now you're realizing the reality you want. And are you with a partner? Are you dating somebody? Are you into somebody that actually really lives your full reality? It might look similar, but it's not the same. There's something about similarities, right? Like, you could be similar with somebody like, yeah, I like trucks, but like, well, like, you don't really use yours and I use mine, you know what I mean? And I use mine to do this and you use yours to look at only, you know? It's like, there's something about it. The reality is not mixing right here. It's almost like oil and water.
Well, maybe they didn't express everything fully in the beginning. You know, it kind of touches on what I was just saying. It's like, if you kind of portray who you are as not being fully you, then someone's going to be like, okay, then this is who that individual is. And if you let that go on for an extended amount of time, then that's kind of who you become in that person's eyes. Instead of riding the ship and nipping that situation in the very beginning, it starts to fester and fester and fester, and then it's this whole big situation. When if you would have just discussed it in the very beginning, if you would have just said how you were feeling, or if you like this and you don't like that, it would have been a much easier conversation, and that relationship would have been flowing. But maybe there is that tough conversation that you need to have now because it's something that you put off and you've been holding deep inside yourself. Don't do that. You gotta let it out.
Oh, the retrogrades are so funny in these comments.
I just started seeing them again.
You shouldn't read for people unless they ask. The ask, I put it out there like on YouTube. People have a choice in themselves. They want, like, it's put out there. That's pretty simple logic. 2, Somebody wants to know about my mother. There's no point in me talking about my mother here.
Alrighty. Who's next?
Don't get me started, motherfuckers. Pisces. Don't get me started. You know what I mean? Don't get a Leo started with Mars and Scorpio. I'll make your little comment look so pathetic. It will be sad. Pisces, I don't think you're pathetic, but I think that you are amazing and magical. And I think that this week, now that Mars is coming into Aries, it's the realization of how much more magic you can have in your life. But are you afraid of that? You afraid to have better? Or what is it about you that has been so lost into getting, your emotions so kind of convoluted in a lot of weird places? It's time to be like more factual about where should my emotions go. You got a lot of love situations coming up. There was just a solar eclipse in Cancer in your 5th house. Another one, and we have another new moon in Cancer at the end of July. So, love is gonna double hit you this next cycle. And there's also a lunar eclipse with the Cancer sun. So I'm just gonna be honest with you, Pisces. Love is in the air, but it might be about changing your whole foundation of your whole life in order to have it and have something much better for your life. But are you holding yourself back from that? And are you projecting yourself in the wrong way by trying to present yourself a certain way or control situations the right or wrong way, which never works. You did pull the Prince, this would be the Page of Wands upright. So, speak from your heart. Then others will speak from their heart. Don't try and, expect others to speak to you, right? It's kind of like, like the king always sends the page because it's wanting the love and it's wanting the positivity. It's a great card. I think that this is going to be a great week for you of realizing the power and the love and the, also, might make you feel really sexy too. I'll be honest with you. Might make you feel like, your game's coming back, Pisces. It's a good thing. But that challenge is past life. Maybe you have a past life situation going on right now that's very challenging to deal with. It's usually a soulmate that's hard to let go of, or you think there's just no way if it ever ended, it would be the end of Egypt. It did end, but then it didn't. It lives on through spirit. But there is something to say here that there is something from the past, and there is kind of also a karmic past life cycle that you live about having issues with love here, that maybe it's about finally coming to the conclusion of what that is. We're going to get deeper on that. 7 of Swords reversed, not knowing how to really be that truthful and honest in almost a way that's very confusing. It's not like you're the deepest liar in the world, but you're an inconsistent truther. And I would say that you're somebody right now who is realizing that the small lies turn into, or the white lies can turn into bigger things, like the boy who cried wolf, or in today's world, the boy or girl who cried wolf. That's not working anymore. Like kind of people don't know how to take you right now because you say certain things to your partner and then you don't act out upon them. This is about like realizing how you put yourself out there better, especially with this Page of Wands. The reason why you got this past life thing is, wow, King of Swords. It's like, you know exactly what you want in your life. You're very specific about it, but what's holding this back, the king, to get exactly the understanding and the direction and the power and also the surety of getting what it wants, is there is this karmic situation that you just don't know how to deal with. And I would say that you're dealing with, this is either your current partner that's a soulmate situation, or an ex-partner that you're still deeply connected to or you don't know how to let go of, that you have to face in order for you to truly get to the reality that you want. Your Black Mirror card here is the Revenge card. Especially how opposite are these? This beautiful Page of Wands and this Revenge. again, it's kind of the Seven of Swords reversed issue. I would say that you can't go create love when you're in a place where maybe you're really this behind. It's almost like the Ring girl coming out of the TV. Nobody's going to want to watch that TV anymore. Like maybe there's something in you about don't go after love, maybe about revenge about an ex, right? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm going to show that ex, like, I'm going to go do this, or, you know, or I would say that can happen in any way, but also it could be that there's a lot of issues that maybe in a partnership that need to be cleared out and figured out and talked about with King of Swords in the past life situation and challenged, and think, you know, go about this in a healing and loving way, but don't go create a storm. There's a storm that could be brewing here. Let's see what this Seven of Swords is all about. Reversed is the North Node, your life purpose. That, you know, when you stop the white lies, you stop the inconsistencies, you stop the little things that you try to beat around the bush and then not show up, or, you know, it's a trickster energy, to be honest with you, that your life's purpose is being missed out, that you're tricking either yourself or you're tricking others, or you keep telling your partner like, no, everything's good, but it's not. Like, that's trickster. There's a lot of trickster in you that's got to go. There's a lot of hard conversations that need to be had. There's also a lot of looking at past relationship or exes, or your current situation of a soulmate partnership that has a lot of hard conversations, but they're not hard because they empower. And there's a lot behind all that you don't want to lead with love for some sort of power or edge or getting back at somebody too. Or, you know, I also see the Page of Wands with revenge behind it, and this dark woman almost as like somebody who's, you've been suppressing yourself, Pisces, of true happiness. And it's almost like maybe you might try and push too hard for it, or you might go into the harder extremes for it. And sometimes that harder extremes is staying in something that's dead. Sometimes it's going after something because you have been holding yourself back. You did pull the North Node in the second house in Aquarius. So this is about knowing your value and worth of a world that you want to be in, and going towards that instead of holding on to this, well, I can't ever leave. I have to stay loyal because I am committed to something, even though it might not have any connection at all. And you might be on two different wavelengths completely now. And you can only build things when you connect, if you're single, not by valuing your ability of how you disconnect.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. You know, it's about moving past our past. I like that past lives card, how it's a pyramid on that, because I've talked about it before. Your past is the foundation. If you have a strong foundation to build a healthy lifestyle, to build a relationship. But you don't necessarily focus on each block once you have that. You know, you look at it as a whole piece. You have to look at your life as a whole, and don't just get caught up on certain situations of that past. Just think about that as a part of the past, as a building block to this strong foundation, to this pyramid that you are building in your life.
Boom. From the gold cup.
Yeah, how's that feeling? How you liking it?
I don't know. You should tell all of us since Scorpio popped out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Extended pause.
Because ain't no party like Scorpio party, baby! Ow! Woo! Woo! On a Monday. There you go.
Actually, Craig got some new tuning forks.
I did.
Maybe you should tune us.
I'm going to give a little tunage.
Tune us for your Scorpio reading.
Okay. Let's see. I wrote it
Let's
out.
hear some tunage.
All right, everybody.
He's novice.
Novice. Just
Day
got them
one.
Today. Got 639 hertz right here. Okay. more. This is the heart chakra.
One more, you better do a root chakra. You can't be a Scorpio and not do a root chakra or a sacral. It better be a good sacral one too.
All right. Where's this sacral? Where's this sacral at? All right, we got 417 hertz.
See, that feels orgasmic. Going for doubles.
We gotta get two.
Yeah, if two don't happen, there's a problem.
All right, let's rock this.
All right, Scorpios, you got your tunage in. Are you tuned in to Venus coming direct in your 8th house of sex, passion? I think that this is Scorpios now. You know, with Neptune retrograde in your 5th house, it's almost like, okay, there's all the great illusions and the dreams of love, and the retrograde is, how is this all going to happen now? Mars is finishing here, going to square the nodes. It's by, you have to go deep in to see what's there instead of kind of holding back or kind of, you know, there's some self-worth stuff though, and I'm going to bring that up with South Node there. Like, don't fall into the pitfall of you not thinking you're good enough for the deep connections that you want. You have to show the value through the passion that you are and not worry about the value of your inner self-worth. This week with Mars and Aries in your 6th house, it's, does your reality fit the reality of love and relationship life that you really want? So if somebody doesn't like smokers, well, then don't be with them. Like smoke, I mean, like, you know, like you barbecuing, smoking. Or like me, right? I smoke Juul and I smoke some cigs. Like, if somebody's not down with that, I'm not going to try. I'm not going to have to go, whoa, they don't value me. I'm going to quit for this person. No, that's not your truth. Death card. Well, there's always a sun that shines at the other side. Man, this feels like a true Scorpio reading. We got tunage with sacral at 417 hertz into a death card. You know, this could be the end of a relationship this week, or it could be just, you know, it could be the end of also maybe, you know, certain ways that you go about partnering, you know, like, and maybe you finally have found it and that's the light, right? You're putting an end to the way that you go through relationships, and there's a new dawn that's here. Hopefully it's not Red Dawn like the movie 2012 and parachuters from North Korea coming down. Well, you got relief as your challenge card. So, wow, death and relief. Okay. Usually there's a lot of relief through death. It's almost like this is going to be challenging for you to feel relief through changing the ways of how you partner, how you come into relationships, how you deal with relationships. And also it's like wanting there. I think relief is always wanting like a surety about something, and then we feel relieved. Maybe there's no surety, but there's the surety of knowing the change within you, or the change in what you're, you know, putting an end to certain, maybe, I don't know why I'm picking up for single Scorpios, or even possibly even partner Scorpios, just putting the end to the people that really are not worth your time, because that's not bringing you relief anyway, and only finding relief in the surety of like knowing your boundaries and knowing what to put all your energy into, because when a Scorpio scatters the energy about, it's not as potent, and you need potency. And I think that will be the understanding of where the relief will come, is when the potency is there, but that's defined by you, not another person. 10 of Swords reversed. This is you getting out of old relationship patterns, which is really good. Wow.
Yeah, that's what I was picking up on, definitely, which is fitting, you know, what we were
It's
talking
yeah,
about right before.
you know, But it can be scary though when you do have a death card, but it's Scorpio, so when Scorpio shows up with the death card, it's kind of like, yeah, you guys do pretty well with the darkness. But I would say that there is something to say though that it can be hard though to put an end to these old ways. That it's not going to be feeling like a relief till you actually do it fully. You know what I mean? Like there's a relief at the end of the tunnel. The challenge is that it's not very relieving through it, if that makes sense. It's not like they're pumping morphine in you as you're on the battlefield, passing away. It's almost like you're doing this without morphine, getting the amputation off of the leg in the Civil War, like, oh, but it's gone. Okay, great. And then there's relief at the end. Well, we got the 3 of Swords there with the relief card. So definitely, I think you've been through enough heartbreak to realize that you're through the other side, but this can be a very weird card, right? It can be a very, like there's still something kind of missing this week for you, or you could be in a very feeling place of like, there's a deep need for happiness and love and romance and not heartbreak or longing for something. There's definitely a longing, but it's like, are you willing to change the way that you do that? Like, are you willing to change your life with Mars coming here in the 6th? For somebody, or is it worth doing that? For your partner or whatever? You pulled the blinded to pain. How funny. I was talking about pain, and you got to be blinded to the pain or you are blinded to the pain for some reason because you almost don't want to experience the shift fully. But maybe you got to feel the pain of the change that's good. No gain, no pain, no gain. Right? Like, stop hanging on these spiders. There's lots of little spiders that maybe you're wasting your time and thinking about. There's a Jupiter-Pluto conjunction coming in your 3rd house. Stimulation's not the space right now with all this Cancer when you want an open door to a beautiful story. Quick stimulation isn't good. I'm going to pull an Astro one for you. Well, you pull 2. Air element and Black Moon Lilith. Oof. I think that some of the patterns is miscommunicating and then taking that communication all the way to death and destruction, or all the way as this is what it is. I think that you need to, realize that there needs to be a lot more open communication and looking at all sides and not determining factors so quick or assuming things too quick. This is a relationship pattern you're ending, is almost like when something doesn't go your way, or somebody doesn't say something that you like, or it doesn't look the way you want it to. It's like, fuck you, blah, 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 blah. And that's the pain that you have to go through, is stopping that. Because there's no relief there. There's nothing but heartbreak that you cause yourself, not another person. 12th house, Aries, Uranus. Wow. So I just flipped it, but it was Uranus. Letting go of an old you that thought it was so genius that it had figured things out, and realizing that it's okay to not know how to figure it all out. Let spirit guide you, and let spirit take you to wild and exciting places of what you want, instead of you thinking you're this mystical genius. You remember, you're an attractor, so just use your attraction skills and let God do the rest. Don't try and force crazy situations. That's not going to help. But at the same time, there also could be suppression here of not speaking up for, I would say, or I would say it's more about not stepping into the world you truly want. It's like there's a little bit of a fear here of a whole different identification of how partnerships will be or how you go about them. This is like a new road for Scorpios and partnerships that's kind of freaky. There's a lot of pain from the past, but there's pain that when you move through it, it's what gives you everything that you've ever wanted. And communication stuff is definitely a pattern that has to be fixed here. And also over determining things too quick and saying fuck you before you even got to the next sentence.
That one resonates a lot.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That one resonates a lot. No, I mean, definitely like the endings and the new beginnings. You know, the yin and the yang.
I mean, you got your tuning forks today, dude. Wow.
It's you know, it's a big thing. And you know, me moving out of where I lived, I loved where I lived. It was a great situation. My sister was there and everything, and it was an awesome situation. But there was also traumatic events tied to that. You know, I lived there with my ex and all that, and so it's like a full-on clothing of that. And I was actually saying to David earlier, even looking at some like random. I'd gotten this like little camper figurine thing when we were in North Platte, Nebraska on our trip, and it's awesome. And I love it, but it still had like that weird energy tied to it because I'd gotten it with my ex. And when I unpacked it and I put it up, it was like the energy, the way that I looked at it, the way that I felt like was completely different. Like it was gone. And so I think that it is very important to like continue to work to the very end, because you think that it's like you're over it. Like I thought that I was over like situations, and you find out little situations that you're not. So I think it's very important to like kind of put yourself through those tests also, and make yourself feel emotions so you can see if that's like a true authentic feeling within inside yourself, or if it's just in your mind.
Just in the mind.
In the mind.
North Platte, Nebraska.
And North Platte is
That was a fun store. I think in all the years I've been, the decade plus I've been friends with Craig, I think we've only really shopped together. Usually when we shop for someplace, it's like in and out.
Yeah.
We actually went through a very mom and pop family run mobile home, mobile park.
It was a campground.
You can
pitch
tents. It was a lot of things.
Yeah. Chickens.
He had his own knives that he brought in. There were
Damascus steel.
I think we bought some fishing stuff.
Yeah.
Postcards that definitely had been there for years.
Yeah, I still have it. That's where I was wondering where that cool postcard was.
There, I see. I don't know
from.
why it came up. I was like, we looked at every postcard.
Yeah.
I think that's the longest I've ever shopped with you, dude, was in that store. And it was, I think I spent a lot of time in the RV section looking at RV toilet paper and stuff. He had a lot of different kinds.
Right.
This is before the pandemic, which I gave people during the pandemic when they couldn't find toilet paper and stuff. I'm like, go to the RV, get the RV. Or I told Ann when she's like, I need paper towels. I'm like, go to AutoZone and get the blue mechanic ones. And there's just crap tons of them there.
I've got a crown chakra here that we're going to close this out with.
Please close it. This is
963 action. And we'll do one more.
Craig with the crown chakra.
And that was 900.
It's my time to ASMR.
Crown
when you
chakra
do something.
Clearing.
Next reading. Next reading is. You know, I was thinking, everybody was like, they love me in nature. And then some people wrote, like, you don't need a studio. And then I'm like, you don't get it, though. I fucking love being in a studio. I love nature, too. But I fucking love being in a studio. You don't realize it. Capricorn.
What is it? Cap?
Yep, caps. I love it. I love nature, too. I had a great time. Don't get me wrong. But then, you know, it's so funny. So most people wrote, I love you in nature. I love you in nature. And then you get the comments like, oh my God, I've been almost dying from Lyme disease and ticks. Like, did you check yourself? I had 40 ticks on my back of my spine. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Do you really care about me and the ticks, or do you want to just tell your story about fucking you and your ticks? You know what I mean? Like,
Ticks.
And I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just trying to be like that's the shit we're dealing with now in the world. Like,
always check yourself for ticks.
check your projections of just you trying to tell your story instead of, do you really actually care about me and ticks, or do you care more about bringing out your story about ticks? Like, you know what I mean? So, you know, being in a studio, like the only thing I have to really worry about is if like the power goes out, or once in a while we get a cockroach that rolls through here. But there's a different element to things. There's a reason why magicians or alchemists go into their lab. This is like a lab. So think about that, because I think that, you know what, I'm going to drop a bomb. I have to drop this bomb. People identify spirituality as nature, like trees. And that's the problem in the spiritual community. You could be 50 million stories underground. I don't even know if that many stories would make it to the center of the earth, but let's just use a stupid number, and be blocked in walls and everything, and still be divinely guided to spirit. That I think there's this notion that only in nature will you be spiritual or understand the universe. And you have to remember that God puts us all in here in every situation, in every place that you're at. There's an understanding of the universe, and that there is divine codes that are all similar in all spaces. And that's what Gemini teaches. It's to see the nature of how this table works and how the lighting works and stuff. I mean, you might think it's crazy, but what's the difference in seeing how the light will hit the tree, and the tree might do this? You know, I have a truss system above me right now. Like, that's a tree. Like, there's this whole notion of like, I get it, to go out too. There's something that's magical about it. And I had my whole life. I was in Indian guides and tiger cubs. And I think that, you know, I think a lot of projections come on to me, being a 5/1, that I'm not in nature when it's just ridiculous. My whole life, I've been outside. My whole life, I've camped. Especially being an Indian guide, you camp once a month. I did it for 6 years. It's 12 times 6. What, 64? If I remember my second grade math. 64 camping trips when I was like a kid, let alone tiger cubs, let alone we go on tours. We were just talking, I race. I've swam for 13 years competitively outside. I just think there's this notion that spiritual people feel like city folk, or me being in a studio, is like, the message isn't the same. It's like, you were so much more chilled back. It's like, you're going to get both. And then the people that thought I was stoned, like, what, because I woke up and I didn't put eye drops in my eye, and I didn't do my hair, and I didn't have lighting that was perfect on me. So I had the sun behind me lighting a fucking mirror, or a glass that was then reflecting on me. Like, it's like, it wasn't the best lighting situation, but I just did the video. And so people are just assuming, because I just woke up and was like a groggy, I'm like, and I just drove 9.5 hours, but that's without the stops. Like, I just really, I'm having troubles with the spiritual community, a big time. It's and I even spoke to some people this weekend. Some people think that spirituality is like, you have to be literally in only nature, and you have to do it this only one. There's all ways to do it. And it's like, it's inclusive. And this segregation that's happening around the globe right now, in every way, from everybody, the racism's higher now by everybody segregating through race now, more than ever. And then now we're seeing it in the spiritual community about, well, if you live in a city, or you're in nature or not, or you don't eat this, and diet is a belief now, all the way to, gosh, like, get back to the heart space. That's all there is. Spirituality is defined through the heart and through compassion for all things, and not, you know, this one way only street. So I just had to say that. Sorry, Capricorns. But Capricorns, I think, are fuck yeah, because I think that Capricorns are pissed seeing the world go the way that it is right now, because there is a lot of energy out there that is hitting Capricorns in a hard way, the same way that we're seeing the world change. They're going through that in their own lives, you know, but it's like Capricorns, I think, are finding the better parts about it. But at the same time, they're also not going to change the game so much that it makes it chaos. And that's what we're seeing in the world. And I think that Capricorns are actually more wider in understanding things, since their 12th house is Sag for spirituality, because all that matters is how to get to the ultimate place for them. So they're open to whichever way that is. They're open to all spiritual things. They're open to all spiritual ways to get, but what matters is where to go. And I think that that's the issue with people, is Capricorn is get where you need to go, however that is, and not that it's only just one way, without looking at that all ways are to get there. It's your own choice of how that you get there. So Cappies, for love, it's big time for you with this solar eclipse. This is the last solar eclipse, by the way, for a good 8 years. That's going to be in your relationship house that just happened. And this week, with Mars finishing in Pisces and squaring the nodes in your third house, it's like, you know, your environment, your communication, and especially the reality you live, like there's a lot of questions about that. So when it comes to your love life, this Venus coming out of its retrograde for you in your sixth house is, it's time to change up your life to have the love that you want. And you know that. And the work that you want to do in life, you have to find the partners that make sense for the kind of work that you do. And then on top of that, with Mars coming in Aries, your fourth house, there's a deep need to deeply dive into intense emotions. And this is going to be a long emotional road. And also it's about living location. And, you know, you're kind of in a weird space with Jupiter and Pluto meeting up by the end of this week in your own sign to change you forever based off new partnerships and new relationships. Neptune retrograde in the third house. Like, don't allow your mind to hold you back, you know, or get lost into the way that you think things should look. Go much more into the heart space with Uranus and Taurus, but I would say even more that this week with Mars and Aries, that's going to be squaring you for a long time, is don't be afraid of emotion, to understand who you are and listen to your emotions and allow emotions to be forceful from yourself. Like, force yourself into feeling more, and you will find more than you've ever felt and seen in your life truly change the way that you want to. But if you're denying yourself of the feelings that you want, or that even could be like you're denying yourself of feelings that you don't want to go through, right? You're like, I don't want to go through this anymore. It's like, but I'm not going to take action towards it. Like, this is all about taking action in your life now, especially with all these planets in your sign. And Saturn comes home next week for you. So you better use the second house, even though you might have some self-worth issues going on right now. Or are you good enough? And this also deals with physical stuff. Like, am I good looking enough? Am I this? You know what? It's much more about following the feelings. You pulled the 10 of Wands. So I think you've been on a long road and you've had a lot of weight on you, and it's time to let go of all that and start on a new road with love. Like, I think that there's, you know, if you're in a relationship, I'll be honest, there's a lot of things that need to be either cluttered out or decluttered, and, you know, either some sort of fresh new start, because it's like, no, we're almost to this spot. No. What's funny about this card is I always say, like, he doesn't make it. It's like right before he gets to the tower, which always falls in tarot. He's got so much weight and he's been on the long journey that he falls over and he doesn't make it. So it's like, is it a time for you to really just drop all the weight and allow yourself to be open to new situations or new things in the relationship, or that you don't need to hold on to all these things in your life, even maybe, that are holding you from the true love and the true happiness that you want in your life, and stop holding on to certain things that you feel that they have to be a certain way. Like, it doesn't. Like, you know, like, let magic happen. That's part of the issue. The challenge is the Earth card here. It's almost like maybe there's, and I'll say that the challenge from a 10 of Wands would be that you're holding on to a certain value system or things that you value in the way that your life works a certain way that might be compromising. Like, right? Like, maybe you're stuck in a reality that, like, doesn't allow for love, or maybe you're stuck in value systems that you won't just like let them go for a second to see what's really there. This is definitely testing your self-worth and yourself and your physicality and your beauty too, because maybe you're holding on to certain things that are causing those things to not feel the way that they are. You did pull the Eight of Wands in reversed. So here's the arrows of love trying to come at you, but are you throwing them back? Like, don't, Cupid, don't shoot me with them. It's like, I think the idea of love is there, but then when the arrows get shot, it's like, I don't know about that one. You know, it's like you almost don't want Cupid, because Ten of Wands is there. Like, no, wait, I'm already happy I am, even though I'm fucking dying and about to fucking almost pass out and not make it. You know what I mean? Like, there's something here about a denial of the, well, look at this. The way you get through this is the Six of Swords. Just get on the boat to the better place and go. Very simple. Just get on the fucking boat. Get on the love boat. Fuck it. Like, what else do you got to lose here? Because I think that you're in a reality right now where it's like, if there's no love there and you're not seeing the love, like, it's a block within yourself. It's a holding on to the way that it has to be. It's too much. Your Black Mirror card that you got here is the temple of my body. I keep feeling that there's something about the body. There's something about attraction, or your own attraction to yourself, or maybe even the type of partner in the body that you always choose, maybe not being the right one anymore. Or this could go to, but it's your own body. So it's like, there's an issue here of like, you're holding on to too much in yourself, or values, or holding on to too much that's not allowing anything in, right? And so there's definitely something about your body here that you got to work with. And because Saturn's finishing up in the second house in retrograde here, self-worth, like, you know, like, you are beautiful enough. Remember that. Just own that instead of holding on to, well, I don't like this anymore, or I don't like that, or I don't like the way I look here. And especially with the Ten of Wands, it's like holding on to the weights. It's holding on to too much. So let go of everything to allow things in. And Capricorn, you guys rule the skin, you rule the body, like the bones. Like, it's easy for you to restructure instantly. So based upon whether or not you're ready to own that value and worth, the reason why you pulled that Eight of Wands in reverse is the Mars card. Yeah. Here comes emotion. Wham! Oh, I don't know if I want that. I don't know if it's going to go that direction. That's a direction I don't want to go. It's actually the direction you do want it to go. But you got to force yourself to kind of almost like take initiative and take action towards it instead of repel it away from you. You know, don't force the arrows away from you. Harness the arrows and take action and embrace and identify the arrows, because you don't want that Cupid, right? Because Cupid, when it's up, look at that. That's the normal way. Here's Cupid coming from heaven to shoot down an arrow of love, but no, it's upside down. And I think that this is due to the fact of your own ego identity forcing situations away, or forcing it to look a certain way, even when it's really subconsciously on self-worth issues and values that you're not willing to just take the journey to a better place. You pulled 11th house Neptune with Aquarius. So this is issues with social situations. It's like sensitivity there. Also trying to control the world too much when there's no control of it with Neptune there. Like learning to surrender to other people and their lives, and other people and how they live their lives, and seeing the magic in that. Because maybe that you're in a place to where your own life is a delusion of being figured out, that actually it's not figured out. And so with partnerships right now, it's almost like there's a lost energy of like trying to think that you have the holy understanding of the way to connect in the world. But maybe if you really look at your life, it's very disconnected to the world at all, and the world of people and society and doing the things in the world that you want to do. So surrender to that, and you'll find magic.
Yeah, because I mean, the personal journey is going to be the toughest journey. You know, it's with us 24/7, and we're the ones that have to hold ourselves accountable for it. So it's easy to get lost up in kind of struggles of life. You know, and really we might miss out on the beauty that's right in front of us, the situation, the people that are right in front of us. You know, we can't get so down on ourselves. Yeah, I mean, the first step is noticing that you want to make a change, but then just do it. You have to do it, you know, and then watch your life turn for the better, because that's one less stress to focus on, and you can put that positive energy in a new direction.
You always got to put that positive energy in a new direction instead of block it.
Yep.
Sages.
Don't save it for a rainy day.
So funny too. All the Sages are so triggered by me reading all their fucking messages from last week's Deep Love Tarot. Like, you don't like Sages, and I'm like, gee, Merry Christmas. And there was a Sag, and they wrote their birthday. I'm like, oh, must be South Node in your sign. Pushing their beliefs on me. I was like, oh my God, like you assume and you believe that I don't like you when I'm trying to help you. Wow. I'm not going to do like the military does. And like when I was the leader at boot camp, it was like, if one person fucked up, I got in trouble, right? And nobody else did. Or if one person fucked up, everybody had to do push-ups, not that one person. I'm not going to let that one person and just be like, Sages, I'm skipping you this week. I was about to do that though. Because I don't know if you really want to hear the truth anymore. That's what, especially the person really was all about, was we know the truth, and the truth is whatever we want and whatever journey we want to go on. And I would agree. But there's only once every 18 years for an 18-month cycle where the universe goes, you know what, Zeus? Because you got to remember, you're from Zeus, Sag. And Zeus went around as a god, yes, of all the gods, but he also raped and did some really nasty shit because he believed he could get away with it. And it caused a lot of weird shit out there in the universe. So that's what I'm trying to say is, your ego right now, and especially with Venus coming direct in your relationship house, this is the 40 days and 40 nights that you spent having to look at the weirdest relationship stuff in your life that you probably kept secret. It was in square to Neptune in your 4th house emotionally. And then there's the denial and the bliss that everything's fine. And then when it turns on, it's over. Mars is going to square the nodes this week, and it's going to affect this relationship thing emotionally extremely. A solar eclipse in your 8th house of death and rebirth. There's a transformation that's trying to happen here. And, you know, it could be good for you, maybe if you're in a relationship and you figured it all out, but you won't know till Venus comes direct, and you won't know here until that happens, which happens on the 25th. So don't fall into the delusion now with Neptune retrograde and 6 planets retrograde here until Thursday and think everything's kosher until Mars is going to hit that square point of the nodes, which is a destiny spot. And it's a destined fall from grace for you emotionally in some way. But then you pick yourself right up when Mars comes into Aries into your true love. So sometimes it's a fall from grace that actually gives you the true love. So it's like letting go of the emotional hurt and the pain that's hidden and secretive that you don't want to reveal, that you got to go through. You pulled the Ace of Wands reversed. Yeah. You definitely want the power of love, but it's like, are you willing to take I would say an Ace of Wands is like wanting this great love and wanting all these great things, but it's not happening no matter how much you try. It's almost like, you know, using a Phillips screwdriver and a freaking, you know, flat blade screw. Like, you know, like no matter what, you're just like, I'm still going to get this screw to work. It's like, nope.
You just end up stripping it and they're just completely screwed.
Yeah, this is forcing love in places that have no love. And it's time for you to go to the honest truth of like, it's a lot easier when it just slips in correctly. Wow, you are afraid of death and transformation into the new beautiful things. You're looking at transformation as the opposite, that it's not beautiful, that I can't do this transformation, I can't do this change, I can't change my relationship world. No, it's not going to turn to a beautiful butterfly. I'm already in the beautiful butterfly. I'm sorry that the butterfly does not turn back into another butterfly. It goes dead. But you are a caterpillar at this moment. then needs to remember that you were about to step into a butterfly, but you're afraid to admit that to yourself. You're afraid to see that you're about to go change to a much more beautiful thing. So that's a challenge for you to admit that. It's like you're afraid to have beauty and grace. You're Ace of Wands reversed. No, I'm going to force the shitty situations and keep trying. And you pulled the Chariot reversed. Oh, don't want to go to the quest of the lifetime that God is divinely guided and taking you on. Not only by the stars, not only by the magician's wands, but by the Sphinx and the truth. And it's the ultimate card of the new road. But look at these reversals. You don't want that new road, and you want to stay a caterpillar. Wow. You pulled the devil with that transformation. So I don't rig these cards. You know what I mean? So it's like you're in a seeping hell. And you're in denial of it. Or you could have somebody who is an incubus or a succubus who is using you.
It's the outside forces.
Big time. Sucking your energy away. Taking your energy. Persuading you not to transform. Like, no, just stay a caterpillar with me. I don't want you to become a butterfly yet, because I'll never become one myself. What's your black mirror on this Ace of Wands in reverse? The child I was meant to be. Oh, wow. I was just feeling like there's somebody you know you're supposed to be in yourself, in the love that you want in your life, but that's being blocked. And it's being blocked by continually not being that person. It's almost like you've stripped yourself away truly of who you are. For somebody that's taking from you, and it could be even an ex that you still are obsessed with, or just some random relationship. Could be single, but you still, or it's just like the old beliefs of that old person, or, you know, in yourself, you're doing dangerous things or dark things that are holding back the ability for great love for you to come in, and you're not being your true self. The reason why you pulled that Chariot in reversed is because you got the Taurus card. You want to have, and you don't want to let go. You have a lot of value to something that is maybe the reflection of the value of something that is on a different road, but it's better. I would say that it's also just being too stubborn and trying to keep things the same way instead of following. You have to remember the Chariot is one of the best cards in the deck. It has the Magician's Wand. It has the stars that are on the crescent moons that are also on the tarp of the Chariot. And it has the black and the white Sphinx that is the duality nature. And it is leaving a city behind it. And there is no reins. That the reins of the universe are pulling you to the direction that you must go. But you are choosing not to, because you feel that you already have that when it's obvious you don't. Man, this has been going on for like how long? A year?
For a hot minute.
So it's like, it's not that it's like, it sucks because I have so many friends that are Sag. I love Sages. And then I'm going to be honest, whoever that Sag is, I have Uranus and Sag, I have my South Node in Sag, and I have fucking Neptune in Sag. So it's like, I am very Saggy, okay? So it's like, don't try and tell me I hate Sag, because I'm not going to hate on my 2 planets and my South Node, okay? Like, for real. But it's getting old. It's getting old, and I'm trying to help you. And I'm trying to, because Sages are that delusional right now. You have Neptune squaring the nodes with the South Node in your sign. That is the most delusional, and Neptune's in its home sign, by the way. So, I'm an astrologer. Go talk to another astrologer if you don't want to watch me anymore, and literally, I don't care. I really don't care, Sages. If you don't want to listen anymore and you just think I'm fucking projecting, I'm not projecting. I'm just being a 5-1 and giving you the honest truth that you know in yourself. That you are just in fucking la-la land and you're not willing to look at the fucking truth. Like, you're just like wallowing in fucking blah, 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 and a crazy situation that makes no sense. And you can go talk to an astrologer that will like literally tell you exactly what you want to hear. That probably knows nothing about this stuff, doesn't study shit, doesn't know shit, and will also float you with the fluff that you always want to hear. But this is Gemini time. This is not Sag time, unfortunately. And Gemini is about facts and to the point and doesn't look at, if that'll be okay. No, the facts say that your relationships are crazy at the moment. Until you, and this, what this says is Aries, Uranus, 4th house. You have to take action about changing the whole emotional structure of your relationships and finding the ultimate higher position of feelings and emotion that are going to take you to a better place in your life and the true self. But if you're not going to emotionally invest in your own advancement of your own self and your own emotional wants and needs fully, then you're going to miss out on them and be disconnected from them and feel like you're on a fucking spaceship so far away from your true self and your true home. That's all I have to say. I love you, Sages, and that's the truth. But it's getting really old hearing all these Sages like get all fucking weird on me. And even in my personal life, Sages stop talking to me and shit because they probably hear this shit and then they just like fucking back away because it's like, fuck, I'm being called out. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm sorry. I was a Leo with a South Node in Leo, and man, the choices I made in my life were so fucking stupid. I got my car repoed. I got my apartment fucking repoed, and I had to convince the landlord, like, can you use my deposit to pay that last month? Like, I fucking did crazy shit. I know what it's like with the South Node and eclipses in my own fucking sign. I've done it. I've been there. You haven't been here for a long time, since the beginning of the 2000s, 2003, 2002. So, I don't know what to tell you. And you've had so much. You've had Saturn in your sign, Mars retrograde. Fucking, now you're dealing with all this Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn in your second house, and Jupiter's in its fall position and it's retrograde, and the South Node is in your sign, and the dispositor of Sag is Jupiter, and it's in fall. So I'm here to tell you that Sagittarius are in the most falled place in their lives, and they're not seeing clearly. And I'm here to give you the clarity to fucking pick you up and get you out of that shit. But if you don't want to listen, I'm cool with it. You can move on to somebody else. But it's been a long journey with you guys. It's been a fucking long journey. And I'm willing to go through the journey with you and give you the truth every week. But it's, you know, it doesn't feel good when I just get blasted. And I understand it might not feel good for you. Then don't watch the Truth Channel. You know what I mean? Like, go watch the fluff shit.
Listen to what the man says.
I would like to get your opinion on the
reading.
reading.
There was so much said right there. I don't even know where, like, and I don't even necessarily even remember what all the cards were that you had going on there.
What do you think about the devil being on top of the transformation as the challenge?
Yeah, I think that there definitely is a need.
And I said succubus or incubus is stealing their energies.
Yes, there's a transformation that needs to happen. I think that there's been a major block. Holy moly. That was a lot. I'm still trying to compute everything that you just said and process it. It was very deep and direct. So I think that anybody out there that needed to hear it, I hope that you actually listened to it. I think that maybe that is that transformation that you're blocking, is not wanting to hear the message, you know, and it's stifling that growth that you're capable, that you should be achieving. So listen to the words. And like you said, you know, search out. Hey, you should get information from every direction for everything that you do.
That's true.
For everything that you do. And
but
always
with
accept the change and adapt.
With Sagittarius, with Gemini's or 7th house, like with Neptune squared the Venus retrograde, like, and with the North Node getting squared by Neptune and stuff, it's like they're delusionally thinking that some partners are telling them the right things when they're not. They're like fucking using them for their own fucking like subconscious issues. So they need to check their own partnerships and see where they're coming from. They're being like deceived. They're being deceived. And it's hard to wake up a fucking Sag to tell them they're deceived when they are the ones that believe that everything's all good. They don't like to even believe that they could be deceived because they think they know it all. And that's the problem. Is when the South Node arrives, it's like, you don't know it all. You're being deceived right now. Well, what?
Right.
not only is it an illusional transit, the South Node through your own sign, but you add Neptune to it in its home sign. You didn't have that in 2002 and 2003. The last time that could have even been possible would have been in the 1850s. And guess what? Might not have happened. That's only a 16-year transit. You know what I mean? 15-year transit. And that's an 18-year transit. So I'd have to go into the astrology just to check to see if that would have even could have happened. And you weren't alive in the 1850s is the whole point. So you have never been through this before where you are being deceived, and you have been being deceived, and it's trying to wake you up. Virgos. Man. See, you know what? That's what the fucking Redwoods told me to do. Not about Sages, but they were like, get the fuck out of here. We are holding it down. We don't have legs. Go down there and do that truth shit because we can't, we don't have legs. I was like, okay, I got it, guys. I got it. Got it. Got the message. They were like, get down there now. What are you doing? I'm like, okay, I better get home. Yeah, you're right. Oh, man. So Virgos, what a switch. Wow, the Virgos that like to look at the facts. I think that Virgos are in a really interesting space for love. It's like there's kind of the going through the motions of the 10th house, Venus, right? Or there's sometimes could be, like blocks that have been kind of revealed or adult things that you have to take care of, or, just shit that has to get taken care of. And it's not as, glitz and glamoury right now. But the 11th house transit is definitely saying that, be social, whether that's however that you can be social in today's world, to find, if you're single people, or get on the internet and do dating apps or something like that, Virgo. Don't be afraid of that stuff. Like the 11th house is about being social and finding people that are in exciting worlds that you would want to be in, instead of getting lost into, because it's about your circle of friends right now. Are you around the right people? Including partners, because if you're partnered and you have the wrong circle of friends, your partner might be complaining about them. Like, really, babe? Are you going to have them over longer? Like, you know what I mean? You got to start checking yourself with that shit. The people you hang around are everything about whether you're going to find love or not with this solar eclipse. And with Venus coming direct in the 10th, it's almost like this is your time with the North Node in the 10th to focus on your career and like your long-term goals. And, Uranus in the 9th is like, hey, there's different areas to look at. But I would just say that with Mars coming into Aries now, which is your 8th house of passion and intensity, and with Mars leaving your 7th house of relationships, square the nodes, is the kind of relationships you choose are based on ones that are wiser, older, and in the space of understanding better goals in life, or the emotional, childish, like belief that's lost energies that you don't want to go down that road. Because when Mars comes in the 8th house, it's like you could either find your power in life through your partnerships right now, or destruction, right? Because those beliefs weren't sitting on solid ground, or they were childish, and now you kind of get into a childish situation. So you got the Judgment card reversed. Ooh, man. Okay, so when it's about the partners that you choose, or if you're in a partnership right now, like, where is the higher calling in things? There's got to be a higher calling to life than just being in love in this situation. I also think that, the Judgment reversed is maybe you're not judging, all your situations correctly. Maybe it's like, maybe you shouldn't go on a date with that person. Maybe they're not the best for you. Maybe they don't have the right calling for where you should go in your life. Or maybe in your partnership, you might be judging them incorrectly at the moment. Like, maybe you're not looking at all the angles, or maybe you're dealing with a partner that's not really in alignment with their higher truth right now, or anybody that is. And that's like, those are the people to stay away from right now. You did pull the home card as your challenge. So this could be the challenge, Virgo, of like, it's like you got a lot of duties at home to do, or you can't find your emotional home with relationships. You don't know where to look sometimes, or there's troubles in paradise at home, or the home front seems to be kind of a chaotic space or a challenge for you. Especially with the Judgment reversed, it definitely kind of feels like you might feel like, can I ever find the ultimate thing and the ultimate home for love? Even though maybe you're in love, but like you're trying to find a new home or you're trying to find a new higher calling towards it. You did pull the Justice card too. So the Judgment and Justice, at least it's upright. Justice can be served by balancing out a lot of good things in your life right now. I would say that, this is about getting in touch emotionally with finding the home of what you really want, and that you need to make a judgment instead of avoid the judgment in yourself of what's the best for you and what do you need to do in your own life, or picking and choosing the people that make sense for your foundation and make sense for where you want to go, instead of getting lost in unbalanced and unjust situations that are just going totally against the whole entire notion of where you're going in your life. You pulled the Fool card in reversed over that home. So it's like, I don't know. I would say that this is just like not really, you already see the issues when it comes to the places that you present your emotions to, and the way that you present your emotions, the way that you try to maybe build a foundation, or maybe this is finally you seeing issues that are in your way of how you deal with emotional foundational energies and how they're already kind of set up not that great. So I would say it's positive that you're going to finally see what's the issues here, because these are challenges bring rewards. So there's a reward in you not being so foolish anymore about how you set things up. Your Black Mirror card is the Sacrifice card with Judgment reversed. That, you know what? There is a sacrifice to make. The sacrifice, though, is not a bad one. It's like sacrificing something crappy, or sacrificing, people that really don't have a path, or that don't have a definition of themselves, or don't have an understanding of a higher calling. Like letting go of those to get the ultimate. Like, that's not a bad sacrifice. But for some reason, that's still a hard one, because I think there's a connectivity to things that are not in the right home space emotionally, or giving people the door open of home when they don't deserve it. And your last card here will be, you pulled the South Node, life debt, karmic life debts with this Justice. So I would say that there's definitely, oh, wow, this is a very weird reading. I think that this is a weird time for Virgos. I would say that this is a time where it's like you're done with dealing with the same bullshit situations that truly are unjust in your life. Like, you got to get over that now. Like, that don't make sense and that are not ever leaning on the side of your defense. You're always having to defend yourself, or you're defending them for them and then they don't ever defend you back, or like you're just like having to back away out of a lot of stupid situationship. There's stupid situations in yourself and in your relationship stuff that has to be worked on, and like sacrifice, like finding a higher purpose and sticking on that higher purpose, instead of being like, well, we're on this high purpose and I'm kind of over it. It's like, no, you don't get over the high purpose. You keep that as your glue. Your astro dice are North Node, third house, Sag. So communication's everything, and expanding your ideas of what is possible for love, like having communications, exploring new options, exploring new thought processes, exploring new possibilities of what you think that you can have for love, expressing yourself without feeling like you can't express yourself in your beliefs. But also, if the beliefs don't meet the understanding of what you are and understanding of what you like that would just not make sense for you, because you are very reality based. That why would you be with people that have alternating perspectives or views, or people that can teach you about similar views but expand your knowledge more and give you more information in different ways? Not a bad reading.
No, it's not. It's definitely can be about like appreciating that new home, that new being comfortable within yourself and like fully residing in yourself and like the happiness. I think it's going to be a great time to like appreciate that once they figure out where the direction is that actually that they want to go to, But it goes back to self and feeling comfortable as to where you are, you know, and knowing what's needed and what's not needed. But knowing that you are yourself, you know, and you have everything that you need.
Yes, Greg. You are what you are. Leo. You are what you need.
Yeah. You're everything. You're everything all encompassed in one.
You are what you need. All right. Oh, well, we're almost there on Leo. Well, Leo, I already know the Sagittarius are watching this to be like, does he talk shit on his own sign? Fucking blah, 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 blah. Just listen, Sag. So, 12th house, Leo, this was our last solar eclipse here, and we've just been pounded by solar eclipses, and we're having another new moon in the 12th, too. So, this is about spirituality, Leo. Like, this is about, you know, what makes sense in your spiritual world. You're a sensitive one, Leo. I know. I'm a double Leo. We're sensitive. So we need people that understand our souls, that see through that. But we also can't be blinded and go to soulless people or people that are not connected in their soul or spirituality, because that wouldn't make sense right now. And this is definitely with Venus coming direct in the 11th house. There's been so many people, and with Saturn finishing in Aquarius this week, the 7th house of relationships, and with Mars coming into Aries and leaving the 8th house, it's like you've had to go really deep and see who connects in your world spiritually that is not going to blind you in the wrong direction, you know, and falling into positions just because you want to fall into it, or fall in love just because you want to fall into it. Like, it all has to really make sense in your world. They have to be a friend just as much as they have to be intense, as they have to also have a journey. And you are going on a big journey here. And so it's important for you right now to not get stuck this week on people that wouldn't be able to go on a journey. A big mission too, with Uranus and Taurus. That's different than the standard way everybody's going on their missions. And with Mercury retrograde in Cancer too, it can make you just go, you know what? Just scan the environment of what it feels like spiritually. If it feels off spiritually, then it is. And you don't have to look any deeper than that. With all that 8th house energy, you might want to keep investigating. But Mars square the North Node is saying, like, no, like, you know how people are. Don't get lost in just, well, my heart's there, but it feels off. It's like, no, like, disconnect. It's okay to disconnect, Leo. That's what Saturn in Aquarius teaches and North Node in Gemini teaches. It's okay to disconnect when it doesn't make sense, because there's no point in connecting to things that feel off. And if it doesn't feel fully on, it's okay. Then the right thing comes. And that's possible this week, but not being delusionized when it feels off. Well, the Page of Pentacles is definitely you starting to know your value, your worth, and, you know, there's an offering either to you or you're offering that value and worth. It might be received or you might take it. You just got to make sure it's not from a delusional place, or make sure that it's in a row, and have to know that value system very well within yourself. The challenge of that is divinity. That's look at that. Is it really divine? It has to be. It has to be. It's the challenge, is not taking on relationships that don't have divinity attached to the value systems in which that you're here to be in your life, and that what you have to offer, because stripped of divinity would be like stripping away everything to the value systems in which you have. So soulless relationships, or just relationships that are relationships, just aren't going to work right now, or ever, but now more than ever, and not getting trapped in one. The death card reversed. So, it's almost like overall, it's like, the fear of putting something to an end that might not have divinity attached to it. Like, it's okay to say, something's off, but whatever. Like, don't be afraid to put an end to something that's not right. Or just in yourself. Like, don't be afraid of the change too of true divinity. I mean, you might be blocking divinity, right? Like that might be scary for Leo. Sometimes it's easy for Leos to take the surface shit, right? Because it's like, well, like I got the glitz and glam. That'll look great for the kingdom, but it destroys the kingdom eventually, and you're willing to take the hits. Leos are willing to take the hits. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we'll take the hits for a while, and then fucking once it gets bad, I'll deal with it. No more of that. 8 of Cups in reversed. It's like, oh, I still want to see what's there. I don't want to fully let it go. That's Death card and 8 of Cups reversed. You don't need to keep going back to go see what's there if it doesn't feel divine, if it just doesn't feel like it's clicking. That's twice. The Black Mirror card that we got is I won't cry for you. Because I know my value and my worth, right? You don't cry for me, Argentina. My beautiful voice. I won't cry for you because it doesn't feel divine. I feel like this is a lot of past stuff though, or stuff that's been going on that just like kind of is the lingering stuff. Anything lingering, or if you're in a partnership but there's a lot of things lingering, it's like, you don't have to keep going back to figure it out. And like, you don't have to explain yourself. I won't cry for you. It's like, it's okay. You don't have to. It's the lesson. 7th house of partners though, with the Death card reversed. So this is both ways. It's ending the partnerships that aren't in alignment and not being afraid to take on the partners that are. Wow. These are like weird choices for Leos. These are like ones that you know aren't in alignment and ones that are. And like, I know it sounds easy, but it's complicated because it's almost like you want to keep digging. But Mars is going to go in the 9th and be like, no, we got to go on an expedition, and we don't want to be taking on weight that's not divine. We don't want to teach magic on the middle of the road. That magic already better be there. Moon in Aquarius in the 1st house. It's like, yeah, don't emotionally connect to things you don't want, and only emotionally connect to things you do want. Period. It's okay to disconnect. It's okay to be like, I don't want it. Bye-bye.
Are you going to cut it off, though, you know? I mean, that's always the tough question. The tough question is knowing, but actually going through with it, you know, and having the courage. And I think, Leo, I think you do have the courage to go through with it. I think you do have the courage and the power to make the change that you need in your life to find that happiness.
Yeah, that's what's funny is Leos are the only sign that has Aquarius as their 7th house of relationships. Right. So we actually are the heartbreakers always. So it's kind of a weird reading because even though it's kind of hard, it's actually not. Leos, we don't jump from relationship to relationship. We definitely are daters. We will date. So it's like, you know, like, not into you fully, sorry. You know, like, people think we're assholes. Like, oh, but we had so much. And it's like, we did, but there was still like not a lot there. Sorry. What? It's like, you know, sorry, I don't know. That's your feelings, but like this is mine, and I've moved on. You know what I mean? Like, bye-bye. You know? And that's hard because unless it's the ultimate queen or king, like, sorry, don't really want, you know, you can go hang out on the royal court all you want, but then there's going to be a new queen or a new king that won't like that and probably kill you. But like, stay as long as you want in the friendship realm. And that might be the thing with Leos is like, maybe you don't need to keep people in the friendship realm or keep them on the royal court with this Venus coming direct. It's like, you know, it's okay to say goodbye and you don't have to be in my kingdom. Like, it's okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah, that stagnant energy is never good for growth, you know? Even if they might not be in your like day-to-day life, they're still going to be there in that subconscious. Mm-hmm. They're still in there. They're still going to be residing space in your mind and in your heart.
Maybe Sagittarius can learn from that reading from Leos. Libra that's not torn in half this time.
That is what sparked the change.
Yeah, Libras actually did a bigger thing than they realized. They changed Deep Love Tarot. Speaking of change.
Change.
Yeah, speaking of change. Libras, with the solar eclipse in the 10th, it's like, okay, for love, wow. It's like, okay, you know, you want emotions, but they take hard decisions to get them. And it's about growing up and being older and just doing. You want love? Well, make it a plan. Do something about it. But with the Venus retrograde ending in your 9th, it's like, have you looked at all the different areas where love is possible? If you're in a relationship, have you looked at fully if this really is everything? And with Mars leaving Pisces, your 6th house, where it's like, is your reality allowing doors to be open to look at other directions? Now with Mars coming into Aries, you're about to have the biggest relationship transit that you've had since 1988. Your ruler of relationships coming into its house to retrograde. That means Mars is here for all the way of the rest of 2020 into the beginnings of 2021. So, oh, Libra, are you ready for the real deal? I bet you're going to go through a war for it. Like, it's going to be like, I got to end that in order to get to this, in order to get to, and I have to diplomat that whole battle. Yeah, you do. It's going to be fun. But you know what? There's some big opposition coming to you. And that opposition is, are you really in the most powerful relationships that you can be? Because the truth is that Libras have been kind of like hanging like dead fruit on a tree for so long that it's like kind of flopping in relationships, that this is going to end that. But you have to be willing to cut off people. Mars and Aries, you have to, I'm done, axed out. Like, Aquarius is easy. Like, I'm like, goodbye, I'm not talking, disconnect. But Libras, as a diplomat, have to be the opposite of the war by in war going into the tent and saying, no, you will not do that. And no, you will not do this. And be directive. You have to remember that you are a lot more directive than you realize when it comes to relationships. But when you let the partner direct the things towards you, you're fucked. You need to direct, like, I need more of this, or you know what, I don't like this. I'm done. I am wanting this. And Libras that actually fucking say, I don't want you, I want him or her. God, there's power in that shit. Why are you afraid of that, being that? That's a true diplomat. John Adams was an amazing diplomat before he was president. 5 of Wands. Are you ready to go into conflict? Conflict, though, is great. It's also the same thing like sports, right? It's almost like a sporting event. Like, there's going to be tension and all that stuff, but I think that you are dying for some tension. It's got to be healthy, though, but I think that, don't be afraid of, like, you're coming into some love complications here, okay? You know that already. You've already been feeling it. There's other feelings coming up. There's all these other things. Like, you got to end that, or you got to change that, or this isn't working. Like, these are 5 different wands trying to all fucking battle for a position. It's funny, whenever I am with Rick Levine, the astrologer, whenever like a 5th person comes into conversation, he just walks out of the conversation because he's like, at this point, 5 people talking, it's just not going to work out. Like, his Gemini rising is Aries, just knows. And I love that about Rick Levine, because you'll be at a conference and right when the 5th person comes in, he's out. I'm like, every time. I love you, Rick, because of that shit. He's taught me a lot. Just like, he's like, because 5 people trying to talk just fucking, you're not going to go anywhere, right? So it's funny that's kind of your life right now. There's this 5th thing rolling in, there's this new thing rolling in, there's some contradiction that's like causing it to be a really, it's conflicting, it's conflict. You got to go through the conflict to get what you want. It's like you're in a conflicted place and you can't just avoid it anymore. Your challenge here is passion and fire. Yeah, you're missing that. You need that. You want that. And you're blocking yourself from that, from not willing to go through the conflicts that you got to do in order to get that. Pretty simple. 7 of Wands in reversed. I would say that this is that you've lost ground in the relationships or the people that you've been dating or that you want, and you're not really ready to fight that hard for it anymore. It's almost like you've lost energy. And I think that, for some Libras, this could be exes that you still have around, because Libras don't realize the more they keep people around, like, it doesn't allow somebody new in. So you have to fully cut things in order to get something else. That's why you can only have one. Libras are not good with polyamory because they have Aries defining a one person, right? Aries is one. And Libras need to fully exit out of the one to get the other next one. And you've lost all interest in somebody. So it's an ex, but maybe you like somebody else, or your partner. It's just there's something about not a lot of passion, and then you're not willing to fight for it all the way. And you pull the Five of Swords. Wow, those are two conflicting cards. And also it's you need to go do the shit you need to do, and you need to kind of fight a little bit harder here, even if it is a little bit intense, to get passion back into your life. Some people aren't going to like it. You got 5 and 5. That's crazy. That's massive change and a lot of just. But I would say also with 5 of Wands and 5 of Swords here, it's you know what? Yeah, you know what? The passion's gone. So you got to go towards and show up to the battle and almost win the battle. And you've got a 5 of Wands here. You're in a conflicting position that you need to fucking do it. What the hell? You pulled the perchance to dream. This card's so weird. Because whenever you see the depiction of a male and the female coming together, it's always this loving situation. But this is almost who are you? What are you holding on to me for? Because it's a perchance to dream. So it's almost like you're afraid to conflict your real dream, by not doing anything. That's a conflict. It's a conflict of your true love vision that you have. You're not willing to do the conflicts that you have to put endings to things, and you have to stop this, and you're going to have to, it's going to be crazy, Libra, but that's what you had signed up for. And the reason why you got that 7 of Wands in reversed is the 11th house of friendship. So I would say that, you know what? Maybe you've lost interest, or you're dealing with somebody who's more than a friend than a lover. And that's not hot for Libras. It's hot at first. Sometimes it's hot for Libras at first for friends, because that's your 11th house in Leo. You're oh my God, we have so much in common and da-da-da-da-da. But then it's almost we're more friends than we are lovers. And I think that you've reached that space. Scorpio, Neptune in that is the 9th. Well, this means that you have some things that you want to explore really deep, and that those dreams lie there, but you might be suppressing your truth. You might be trying to hide the exploration of a new place that you want to go. And you can't hide things, so why don't you just reveal your truth and your honesty and see what happens, and throw a wrench into the monkey, throw a monkey wrench into the whole entire gear system. Here's my truth. I don't know what to tell you. And maybe, for Libras, sometimes just being honest and truthful, other people just do their own destruction and do all the shit, and you don't have to do anything. Libras don't have to do much. They just have to just be real and just say things, and then let everybody do all the bullshit and get out of their life or do whatever. And thank you.
Yeah, embrace that change. Just go.
Yeah. Well, it's about being grown up now, making tough choices that are going to give you to the ultimate Tootsie Roll pop, but the actual center of it. So that's the irony in it all.
Would you say maybe focusing their energy on a specific thing instead of hopping around I should do this, I should do that, I should be with this person, I should be with that person. It's getting real and actually just looking at themselves and figuring out what it is that they actually want?
I think it's more targeting what they really want. And if that's not in the partner with them, then okay, not it. And keeping the target until they find where that is and going in to investigate that. And if that's not it, now the next person, but it's right. Don't just take on and continue situations emotionally that just are not it, because you have some sort of respect for the person. That's the problem with Jupiter and Pluto, and now next week Saturn coming back into your 4th house, is there's too much, well, I have integrity emotionally. It's like the integrity emotionally is with yourself first. You can't be a good diplomat, because a good diplomat has to tell another country, hey, fuck you, I'm not doing the deal. We're doing the trade deal with these people. Oh, but I had integrity to I told them we were going to do the deal. It's like, I got a better deal with this country. I got a better deal for the war to not kill as many people. So I'm not going to do the deal where more people will die. That is the beauty of Libra, is not giving integrity away if it's a bad deal. Think about that one.
Think about that.
Fucking think about that one. I'd love some insight on that, unless that was just really bad insight. I don't know.
No, I thought that was great. Like I was saying, yeah, figuring out what it is they want. I think that there's a lot of wishy-wash kind of going on, or wish-wash kind of going on, of like, again, should I be in? Should I be out? Should I do this? Should I do that? And I think that it is like actually figuring out what you want to put your energy towards, who you want to put your energy towards. Because if something hasn't been working, you have to switch that up. You can't just keep doing the same thing and expect different results. So adapt that, put your energy towards something that's productive, what you can actually find that's productive in your life. And don't be afraid to do it.
And you know what? When you just said right there, don't be afraid to do it, in the chat somebody says, can I get a warranty on this reading? It's really resonating, but I'm skeptical. That's typical Libra, right? Like, I really know that this isn't the right situation. I want to go into the right situations, but if it doesn't work out and I'm skeptical of that, can I at least save the relationship that's so shitty to go back to? Can I get the old car back that doesn't run? No, you're trading it in for the better fucking car. And then you'll deal with those situations with it. We're not going to throw you back into the shitter that we're throwing in the junkyard. And it's going to be fucking crunched. You know what I mean? Like fucking, what are you talking? And you would still drive the car with it crunched? You're looking for gap insurance, not fucking warranty. You know what I mean? If there's an accident, that it will pay back the loan that you took out to fucking on the car. That's what you're looking for. The gap insurance is the fact that you fucking stepped into something wonderful and great, and there's no way that you'll lose value on the vehicle of the new relationship because the old one was so shitty and the new one is already at top dollar price. Unless you're trading in a car that a relationship that you are so over balanced on, the value of it is so low and you invested so much. And not even in spirituality, there is no gap insurance for that. That's the lesson of, I'm not going to invest that much in a shitty situation anymore. And keep living my life and denying myself of my passions and my needs and my wants and all that shit for some shitty junker. That taught me a lot, but isn't exactly what I want, and that's okay. You're a diplomat. You're a judge. You got to make the best judgments for yourself. Gap insurance. Hey, Leo, can you sell gap insurance for love? You got a warranty on your readings? It resonates, but I'm skeptical. Aquarius. That's actually really funny. I'm not like mad at that one. I think it's hilarious. It's funny because I was a finance manager. So once I used to be a car salesman, then I went to finance. I was the finance manager. So I'd get the deals on the cars, right, from the banks. And so, I'm the guy that you would come into the office and sign the contract for, right? And I would sell you gap insurance, a warranty. You want the clear coat on that car? You want this? You want that? So that used to be my world. So, but every time I'd be like, look at what you're driving. Like, look what you're trading in. I'm not going to make much money on this thing. I'm going to send it to the auction and maybe make $200. Like, it barely runs, but I'm doing this to help you out here. But let's be real, like, do you want that to happen again? Like, Maybe you do need a warranty. I
We're
don't know.
about to close the gate on the back. There's a lot of noise and randomness going on back there, so you might hear it for a second.
Oh, is it behind us or is it out there?
What's going on, but
Oh, it's our neighbor?
I don't know what's going on out there, but since there's no one back there,
Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter. We can do the reading with the gate. You can do it as loud as you want, Ann. Maybe Aquarius need to hear a gate dropping. Why would I say that, Aquarius? Why would a gate be dropping? Well, this is the last week of Saturn in your sign until the end of the year. There it is. Saturn will come back to your 12th house. So this week, of all weeks, Aquarius, Venus coming direct in your love house, North Node here, Saturn on the last week in your sign. For almost 6 months, almost half a year here, you better fucking get your love life straight or you're going to be in fucking prison. The 12th house is prison. Hospitals. You want me to go on? Insane asylums. And there's no South Node here anymore. So it feels more real than like a virtual reality that you were able to escape. So if you don't make your calls for love now with Mars coming into Aries, you got to speak it out. But in the second house, it's almost like, are you valuing things that are not really making you happy and you're valuing your independence and all of your crazy like world that you're in, but really it's separating you from ultimate happiness and love, Aquarius? You can't do that anymore because Mars is going to sextile your Saturn in your sign and be like, hey, communicate what you want and for love and just do it. Like this North Node in Cancer, or no, sorry, this eclipse in Cancer with the North Node in Gemini, but this eclipse in Cancer is like, you need to change your reality now, fast, like quick. Jupiter and Pluto are about to conjunct in your 12th house at the end of this week. Mars is going to be in Aries, and it's going to be there for a long time. The environment you're in will define you, and if this is the environment you're in and you're happy, well, then that's what you lock yourself into. If you're not, you better fucking change it now. Strength card reverse. You don't have the strength to really say what you really want to say. We'll just leave it at that. Time, you're out of time. That's exactly what I was saying. Oh, the star card. You do have to start from a fresh new place. And you know what? That's beautiful. Why are you afraid to do that, though? I don't think you are. I think that that's the outcome when you actually just realize that you're out of time. And you need to fucking have the strength to just do what you need to do. Or maybe you say what you need to say. And for some Aquarians, they're in some crazy partnerships that they are like, what the fuck? Look at whatever, especially 8 years ago. Queen of Pentacles in reverse over that no time. And so it's almost like you're not valuing the time enough that you don't have left. But there is enough time in a moment here where there's not a lot of time left and you're not valuing it enough, and you need to, because you'll be able to create the most amazing situation. But you need to speak about it and be honest and be clear and just say it and just be it. The reason why you got that strength card with the black moon or the whatever, I forgot, black mirror, is peaceful among thorns. Again, this is what I keep feeling. It's like, oh, it's been the illusion that I'm okay in the prison. But if you don't have the strength to get out of it, I'm sorry to say, you're going to not be peaceful among the thorns. You will be stricken by the thorns. Or what would be the correct term when a thorn?
pricked or gouged, depending what it is.
The last card here is the moon card, the soul on the star card. Oh, this is a lot of suppression of a beautiful new energy. It's like, but it can also tap you into this beautiful new energy overall. So you're either going to suppress a beautiful new energy with love, or you're going to feel the most beautiful energy with love. And you're out of time, and you got to make your call, and you got to make your, because, you know, this is going to be, I'm just going to prepare Aquarians. They know it too if they follow astrology. This will be the hardest 6 months of your life coming up here. Let's call it 5. I'm just being real. And I think you can feel it. That gate was no joke. That was not planned. So we've never actually done this show and actually had to ever close the gate from some outside, right? You're Aquarius, some weird energy that fucking made us close the gate.
I was feeling a little funkiness going on out there. It's like, I don't know. My spidey senses were tingling.
Exactly. Mars in the third in Libra. You need to speak to the relationships that you need to speak and find out what the case is. And I think that the issue is you're waiting on somebody else. Like you need to stop, because Mars is at detriment in Libra. It's like it waits for somebody else or get to push into things. Like you need to push yourself and speak up, especially with Mars coming into Aries in your third. Aquarians aren't afraid to speak up, but why are you so afraid to speak up right now? That's the question.
Yeah, you got to make the decisions in your own life. You know, you have to live your own life. You know what's best. You can't be afraid of that, even if it's going to affect someone else. What's going to affect you correctly is what truly matters. You know, if it's coming from an authentic, loving space, that's what matters. You know, you can't be afraid, because that's what's going to bring other people into shitty situations. And then you're just going to be a one hot mess, just rolling around. No one's feeling right. Speak it and get out of it if need be. Or speak it and stay into it and transform and live in that love.
Well, Cancers came up, and then Taurus is last. Cancers. Oh, Cancer. Well, Cancer, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to the moon. There was a moon that used to sing on McDonald's commercials in the 80s. Firework just went off. Is this Paul Revere with his The British Are Coming? I say that because Venus coming out of retrograde for you is in the 12th. You've done a lot of either playing the story of complete illusion in your relationship life, and it's about to stop that and play a different story. Like, what? Because of the squares to Neptune, and now Neptune's retrograde in your 9th house of stories you're telling yourself or visions you have of how things should look and be. But I would say with Mars coming into Aries and leaving Pisces, that for you, this story is changing into a very intense, harsh decision-making journey in your life about not only your career, but your destiny. And if you really are in alignment with people that are in your destiny or not. And your destiny is going to be either missed or exalted to the highest position if you actually are making choices from clarity and you look at the truth. And there's a lot of unknowns right now, and you have to listen to your gut and you have to follow your gut, even though it seems crazy, and you can't fix something that can't be fixed. The South Node and Sag won't let you do it. So letting go of things is hard right now for Cancers in a time where this is about time without the North Node in your sign. Like, you've learned to know what you want. And usually when North Node's in your sign, relationships you get into with the North Node in your sign don't work out. Hence, I got married with North Node and Leo. It didn't work out. I'm divorced now. And if you got in a relationship in the last 2 years, let's say, the writing's on the wall. Page of Swords upright. Communicating the truth, seeing the truth, and being 100% in the truth, and not being afraid to jump into that and see the clarity fully. This is the most clear card in the tarot. It's also a card where there is no lies, it is full truth. So that's what needs to be looked at and seen. But you know, it's almost like you're trapped into that truth that you feel that you can't. You're wrapped into something that's too intense that actually is very easy to slip out of. It's like you tie yourself stronger into situations than you really think than they are. And you pulled that Knight of Pentacles reversed. That was I think the overall, that was a Leo card. But anyway, this is definitely a long journey coming to an end card. or the long journey stopping to make sure that you unload the shit that's too heavy to get back on the journey because it's stuck. There's something about partners and relationships or people you're in that, there's loads of stuff that need to be dropped and worked out and truth that needs to be spoken. And you can't be afraid of, well, I'm too entangled in this. It's like, maybe this will detangle things. It'll fix some things by just being honest and truthful in spirit. And you don't have to fix shit. It'll naturally fix itself. But trying to fix it by changing yourself for somebody or changing the situation is not going to do shit. 3 of coins in reverse. So it's like when I talk about your destiny, it's almost like nothing's being built. You thought everything was going to go right. You thought the plans were good, and they're not. Nothing's getting built. Nothing's really getting built the way that you want to. Or are you putting too much emphasis on somebody that you think has all this knowledge that you need them in your life to be able to build the things you want, but you know how to do the things. It's like attaching to people for feeling like you need them for something, but you don't. Your Black Mirror card here with the truth is gilded regret. It's like, it's okay to speak about your regrets. Don't feel weird about that. Like, it's okay to be like, I kind of regret doing this, or, I'm not really into this, and don't have regrets about whatever your truth is. They deserve that. You deserve that. And you got the part of fortune when you actually stop and drop off a load of shit that you don't need. Not saying you have to unload the whole thing either, though. Just maybe there's a lot of things that need to come to the truth and the light that's like too heavy of a load right now. And then if it doesn't still work and you're still trying to make it fix it, it's like the writing is clear on the walls there. We got Venus and Virgo in the second house. So your self-worth and the reality changes that come with that are everything. And you need to be more picky. You need to be precise on what you really want. And if you're not seeing that from your partner, you're not seeing that from a person you're dating, or they don't have self-worth or value that is of the reality that matches what they say they do, then, there's a problem there, and that has to be understood. And you need to understand your value much better and be more picky about your value, because it's almost like you got to look at your own self-worth. You got to look at your own beauty and be like, is that reality really the beauty that I am? Or you might taking on another version of that because I'm in something that you're taking on somebody else's self-worth issues, or that they're not that great. Like, ugh.
Right? Knowing your worth, Are you settling just to be in a situation because it feels comfortable, when in all reality you know that it's not worthy of you, when you know that it's not healthy? It's easy to just kind of fall into a comfort level. Very easy. But figuring that out and knowing to get yourself out of it before it gets too deep, before you start wasting too much of your time. It's important to look at your surroundings and really figure it out.
Yeah. And it's Taurus now. The last one. And then we got to set up spiritual dance music. See if y'all still party. I know it's 1 a.m. for some people on the East Coast, but it won't take long. Let's just move it over. I'm under it all right now. I have some amazing music tonight. I was like, fuck. It took me a while. I had to go through some bullshit, but I found some gems. I was like, wow. Tauruses. Tauri. I actually don't think this is a bad time for Taurus, because it's still the contemplation in your mind. And the environment, needs to change in order for love to happen. But are you putting too much energy into, I don't know, trying to save something? Like, there's something about savior energy that comes with the 11th house at the end of Pisces. Like, you're trying to be like some angelic being that'll save everybody and save everything. But it's like, logically, if it's not working, like maybe you just need to step out and focus on things that work. Focus on things that work in your life. Focus on people that want to be in your life, or that are really going to bring you love. I almost feel like this Mars in Aries might be very difficult. It's going to be there in retrograde. When Mars retrogrades in the 12th for an extended time, which you're going to have starting this weekend, Well, you remember, Mars is going to be in your 12th house till I talk to you in the first 2 months of next year. So we're going to be talking about Mars in your 12th house of delusion and cutting out delusion and cutting out things out that don't work and loss and things that, you know, this is the time for you to realize that with all the loss that's coming, it's the loss of things that don't serve you to have the love that you want in your life, or partners that just are not at all even good for you at all. Or with now this eclipse, it's like it's time to change the environment of your life. It's time to speak up for what you want. It's time to be somewhat social by communicating and rethinking where you put your energy instead of just being, you know, I don't know, with this North Node in Venus, you're ruled by Venus, it's coming direct in your second house. It's like, are you wasting your time on things and, you know, that aren't really, you're not getting anything you want because you're focusing on other things that are opposite of what you want? For especially love and romance, Uranus is in your sign too, and Mars is going to square the nodes. I think that you're at a big call when it comes to the world you're choosing. You're either choosing a world where you're getting everything you want, or you're choosing a world where you're just in a place of fear trying to save things. Why don't you just go for the world you want and let the world fix things for you and deal with life? Seven of Wands. You're a fighter. You'll fight for the things that you want in your life, but you better be in relationships for, you know, the top position. And, you know, it doesn't matter how much things come at you. It doesn't matter. There's a lesson in this card. It doesn't matter what it looks like coming at you in the world. You can still be on top of things and be in a good position for love. So this is like denial of like telling a partner like, well, I can't be the best for you right now because I'm dealing with a lot. Or telling when you're single, you know, it's great. I went on a date. I like you, but I have too much going on. It's like, no, you don't. You never have too much going on for love. And that's your issue, is this is a snake transmutation week. It's like you're afraid to transmute into the ultimate new you. And also, it also is just like a fear of life itself, or a partnership transmuting, or a new relationship that would change your life. You're afraid of that. You did pull the Knight of Cups in reversed. So you're emotionally not willing to move forward into new emotions. It's like you keep looking at past emotions or past situations, or you're not willing to move forward when you need to. You're mooing in the middle of a muddy canal when all you have to do is just step forward. You're a bull, you're not a cow. You pulled the Page of Pentacles upright. This is one of the greatest cards, saying the change will bring you the ultimate happiness. Don't be afraid of the change, and don't be afraid of changing the way that you allow energy to leave and come in. Why? What is your Black Mirror card? Envious gluttony. Whew. I would say for this, with the Seven of Wands upright, it's like the things that are counteracting your happiness, you're in gluttony over those things. You're like loving the complications that are blocking you from love. But then you become envious of people with love, and it's a dichotomy. Mercury on that. Be smarter and keep moving forward emotionally. Don't stop emotionally right now. You've already stopped enough in your life emotionally, because every time you stop, things get worse. So be smart and keep the energy moving forward. Gemini, right? Mercury, Virgo, right? Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it, you know, let's keep it. It's the change energy. And especially when you're sunk, it's like, even when you off-road, right? Like you got to keep moving the tires. You just don't want to have the whole thing sit in quicksand, especially being a bull. You got to keep things moving forward in your happiness life and your love life, and keep going, because there's something about you just kind of stopping, or you stopping on someone that's not good, or you stopping and saying no to somebody because you're in horrible situations that you want to use as an excuse to get you out of the ultimate happiness and transformation. I mean, wow. Come on, Taurus. Uranus and Virgo in the 12th. I mean, yeah, this is like not being afraid of the craziness that reality brings and allowing God to deal with fixing things, and you don't have to get involved, and you don't need to fix your relationship. You just need to go to the reality that you want to have in your life, love-wise, in your heart first, in your own self, and then romantic-wise in your life, and everything will be fine. But it's almost like you're trying to run the show. It's like, God, I can fix the reality. God, I know how to fix this. Oh, you're doing a great job, probably, I bet. That's all I got.
Yes, continue to push forward. Don't lose track of yourself. Don't lose track of your own strength. Continue forward. Always keep that momentum going. Life is all about momentum. You can do that change if you continue forward.
I mean, we're keeping the momentum going. We're about to do spiritual dance music right now. So tune back in the next like 20 minutes. Love you all. Please share this video too. We've been getting some of our viewers back from YouTube, which has been great. So it's from all your shares, and we love you all. And just remember, this is an intense week. I'll get more of. Watch last week's Deep Astrology. It's free here on YouTube. I went full out. I gave you guys 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's serious. I've never done that long of a Deep Astrology, bringing us to this week. This week's will be gnarly. Love y'all.